This is Josiah Plays Dungeons and Dragons. This is Beneath the Yawning Portal, Dungeon of the Mad Mage,
Into the Discord,
a 5th
the
edition
highlights from
campaign.
my
With me are my players. Okay, so, hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello?
I have updated the quest handout with a variety of informations on the quests you've done, or that you're working on, and the new one for the spider thing. And we now have a new handout called House Rules. So far, there's only one house rule, which is called Inspiration Bank. Any extra inspirations which you gain that can't be applied to anyone, which, by the way, because I lost my other notes, I need everybody to tell me whether or not you have inspiration now. Does anyone not have inspiration? So everyone has inspiration? Except possibly...
I have it.
Yeah, I have it.
Yeah, likewise.
Seems everyone's got it.
Yeah, I think basically everyone had it, like, back when we were taking down the blood wall, and I used mine to trigger the taking down of the blood wall successfully, and then got it back with a recap of party notes, and I think that, at that point, everyone had it. With
All right,
perhaps
cool.
the exception of Katrin, maybe.
I can't remember, so I'm going to say Katrin doesn't have it.
Probably not, because she didn't have it when she fell victim to the intellect devour.
So, extra inspirations that no one can use are going to go into the party's inspiration bank, which can have up to 12 inspirations in it. Anybody can withdraw an inspiration from the inspiration bank to be their own inspiration when they need to, but the party has to agree to it. You can choose to spend 3 inspirations at once, either from people's individual inspirations or from the inspiration bank, to allow one person to automatically gain a 20 on a d20 roll, but it does not cause a critical hit or any other special success. It's just a normal success. If it's a success, right? Like if a 20 plus your bonus isn't enough to succeed, you're still not going to succeed. And everyone has to agree before someone spends that. You can spend 6 inspirations to avert death for 1 PC. When you would ordinarily die, you're instead reduced to a comatose state and will only wake up after 24 hours. Everyone has to agree to that. So you'll get some extra ones built up in there, and you can decide, you know, how you want to use them. If you want to save them for an emergency, or if you want to use them more freely. But there were a lot of inspirations that were going to waste before.
I just can't wait to hear the justification for someone saying, no, I don't want to use inspiration to save you from death.
I was just thinking that.
Somehow I could see that happening somewhere along the line. I don't know how, but I could potentially see that.
They're like, sorry, we're saving that for a more valuable.
Then again, I suppose it would be more of like a player chooses as opposed to a player's character chooses. So I guess that would be more of a pure thing that, yeah, everyone would essentially say that.
I'm going to start you at 0, even though I was going to start you at 6 in there, because there's been a ton of inspirations you guys have got that nobody got, but I'm still going to start it at 0, fresh slate, so you can start filling that thing up now.
I think that's fair.
You guys earned 500 XP apiece for completing a minor quest, Grell's Anatomy, the first quest that you have actually finished.
Woohoo! Go us!
We're doing it, guys.
And as usual,
We're getting there one by one.
You're almost there. You've almost beaten the whole game. basically.
Yes.
Only 22 levels to go in the dungeon.
And as usual, you gain another 250 XP for the party recap, which it is now time for the reading of the recap. So, Nox, do you want to read it?
Sure.
Great.
Standing there on the platform, Red Saber issued its edict that each party member was to pay a toll of 1 magic item each. Midge regurgitated a few good berries as payment, which they did not find amusing. Roscoe was in the process of negotiating with information instead, but a few tasteless comments from their monk to Ara provoked her into channeling lightning to fry them in a blast. Red Saber was just itching for a fight, though. The signs of spellcraft made them suddenly spring into action. The monk, goaded by their leader Sabriel, stunned and gravely injured Ara before she could actually cast her spell. Midge attempted to conjure some helpful animals, but the spell was countered by their brooding wizard. Sardick bore the weight of the fury of the Cleric of Tempest, but with no one left to counter his magic, he in turn issued a divine mandate, forcing a sense of peace and calm upon the combatants. Only Sabriel was defiant enough to cling to her enmity for the party, yet it was to no avail. Her efforts to goad Red Saber into continuing to fight only frustrated her, as they couldn't be bothered with the effort of combat, most becoming distracted by the area of darkness that Roscoe placed upon the area. Soon the two parties had swapped positions, and the group rose into the tavern, leaving Red Saber below. Morton Blackwell was overjoyed at seeing the party return, having feared the worst. He was even more surprised at seeing Azar, who had descended with the fine fellows of Daggerford many days ago. He balked at the state of Azar's dress, wearing a spare set of Ara's clothes, and the two left to outfit Azar in some of Morn's old clothes. Meanwhile, Tamar Blastwind meekly introduced herself to Sardick, asking if he had any luck finding her familiar Portent. She didn't have any information about the Minotaur horn curio that Portent took, and Sardick assured her that he would continue the search. Also, Ara met up with her Drow contacts, and after scolding them for using foul language to describe some of her party members, bonded with baby Varys. Roscoe, pleased with himself at acquiring information about the throne that his idol, Volo, tasked the party with locating, quickly went to him at the bar with the hopes of impressing him. He was saddened that Volo, ever drunk, only remembered him after several minutes of conversation, and wasn't too excited by the information simply being the word of an illusory Halaster, who was known to be deceitful. Roscoe's feelings were only hurt further as Volo took significant interest in Azar, bedecked in the clothes that Morn gifted him, and settled in for a lengthy discussion of his birthplace, prompting Roscoe to slink away unnoticed. Midge, meanwhile, bonded with the tavern's hat thief, giving her the hat and then making an overt display to call attention that her hat was stolen. The party, with the exception of Azar, who was busy chatting with Volo about Halroa, gathered around the table that they had placed Katrin at, and presented the items they wished to sell. Sardick couldn't bring himself to part with anything he found, and became fixated with the bone dice Midge picked up when they first descended the well. He neglected to put them down when they went to Razavi the Flame Skull and Obaya Ude the Joaquin Priestess to sell the items, marveling at the elegant way they drew money from a secure portal-accessible vault, reminiscent of the Mint of Heaven. Sardick sat at a nearby table and rolled the dice incessantly, preparing them for later use in augury rituals, as Midge and Roscoe met with a Black Viper, receiving payment for the grill barbs the party had harvested in the fog-filled room near the Undertaker lair. Finally, Roscoe received the approval he had sought, as the Black Viper was impressed with him and the rest of the party for not only taking down the Grell, but extracting so many intact barbs from just 2 Grell. Talking further, the Black Viper was also impressed with how they had given Red Saber the slip, and conspiratorially slipped Roscoe the gift to throw into Red Saber's mist next time, as well as 6 vials to render each party immune to its effects. The Black Viper also tasked the party to harvest pieces from another dungeon monster, web spinnerets from a giant spider. Settling back into the table with Katrin and figuring out their next move, they received a message from Tefera summoning them to see Mert. Though Mert was glad to see the map progressing well, he decided to wait for the map to be completed before copying it. He regarded the party pitiably, amassing their trinkets to sell off for what he deemed little value, and offered them a small loan of 1,000 dragons, with 25% interest compounded monthly, but they turned it down. Returning to the table, Roscoe expressed desire to see Vordaxis the Resplendent, recommended by Mert when he had asked about where to acquire incense. He also wanted to share the vaccine potions with everyone, but Katrin would ideally need to have her mind restored, which they planned to try offering the intriguing Timora holy symbol to Wicked Wild as a sort of payment. Would luck be on their side?
Would it? Thank you, Nox. That was great.
Dun dun dun.
You're welcome.
And that brings us to tonight. So, I'm going to tell you guys something right now. The dungeon is under construction. I'm changing the map and doing stuff with it. It's just not ready. So basically, you guys can't go back to the dungeon this session. So, you can either spend the whole time just role-playing in the Yawning Portal, or if you've done everything you want to do in the Yawning Portal, and you're ready to go back down, then we can just end the session early. But there are some
I
things...
vote we decide to go back down when Will shows up.
The second he shows up, yeah. Welcome back, Will. Session's over. So, there's a number
still more stuff
of things going on.
No. And we still need a story from Scito, so, you know, we can't end just yet.
I was going to start with Azar. Scito, are you here?
I am here.
Good. So, Azar, you're over at the bar, being plied with fancy wines, speaking with Volo. And he's starting to look kind of tired. And he says, let me ask you this. He doesn't say this. I'm asking you this. What have you told him about your current situation? Like, did you tell him about how you lost all your stuff and all that?
Yeah, I'd say by this point I've gotten into that.
Okay. So he says, Azar, just one more story for the night, and I will let you be. I will go to bed. Just tell me one more tale, and I will be satisfied.
Right, well, I suppose that's fine. Well, I suppose the story I would most like to tell you is the tale of how I discovered the magic of Ziran, also known as Drow mushroom powder. You see, this was following my incarceration by the Drow. I was about 15 at the time, and I was, along with some of the other slaves, playing a handy game of Caravan. As you well know, being such a famous game.
Oh, yes, of course. I've played many rounds of Caravan. It's a great game.
Yes, it is.
However, unfortunately, Durnan has forbidden it to be played within the Yawning Portal. He hates that game for some reason. I don't know.
I have a feeling that the same cosmic coincidence that which resulted in that also resulted in my belongings disappearing.
The ways of the gods are confusing and strange, are they not? We all
Indeed.
walk the roads fate has for us. So, you were telling me this story about this drow mushroom magic.
Yes. Well, at the time, we were playing Caravan. Now, you have to understand that life as a Drow slave, even one who was taken care of relatively as well as I was, I mean, I didn't have to be constantly threatened with being fed to the Driders or anything of the sort, was not an easy life, and as such, we slaves oftentimes would attempt to liven things up whenever we could. In this case, I would play Hands of Caravan with the other slaves. When one of the other slaves, a halfling, excitedly told us that he had managed to get his hands on some Ziran. Now, at the time, I had no idea what Ziran was, it not being a substance native to Halrua, and really only being common amongst the Drow and of the surface folk in the later half of the 1400s, I believe. Or 14th century, I should say. In any case, I agreed to take part in this, and we enjoyed a boisterous night, each competing for who would gain the pouch of Ziran. Well, after many rounds, I finally was able to gain in the pouch of Ziran for myself. Now, there are many things they don't tell you about Ziran, one of which is the extreme blood loss that will occur upon ingesting a large quantity of such, namely when you ingest it through the nose, which I did, quite vigorously.
Volo laughs. This sounds like a great adventure.
Yes, well, they also don't tell you about the complete lack of self-control that slowly begins to take hold. So, as I was there, spraying blood out from my nose and running around screaming at invisible Driders and Quidentias that I thought were attempting to devour me, I managed to get the attention of the slave keeper who was on duty at the time. And I, being quite new at that point, was extremely brusque with the man, and demanding to tell me where he had hidden my slippers. Now, I don't know how much you know about the Drow and how willing they are to tolerate backtalk from slaves, but I can assure you it is not much, and so I, now drenched in my own blood and, of course, being quite naked, it was to be on the receiving end of several canings by the Drow slave master. However, thanks to the magical properties of Ziran, I was extremely adroit and was able to avoid the canings, and in fact ran out of the pen into the common area. So there I was, running about, screaming as to how everyone needed to listen to me, as I had a great idea for a new soft drink that everyone should attempt to consume. I was suddenly surrounded by a dozen Drow slavers. As I was attempting to regale them with the best story which I had ever concocted, I was beaten quite vigorously and thrown back into slave pen. I don't know what happened after that. I think somehow or other I had an out-of-body experience or like, but I do remember waking up in what appears to be women's clothing. I asked the fellow slaves as to why this was the case, but none ever told me the answer. And so that was how I discovered the magic of Ziran.
Quite a life you lead. It seems that waking up in women's clothing or being naked are things that happen to you often, eh?
Yes, more often than I would have thought possible.
Thank you for this story. It was very good. Sounds like you had an interesting time among the Drow.
Yes, if enjoying that and the constant terror of having others be threatening you with bodily harm if you don't exceed their expectations on a regular basis, and also the illithids, the constant raids on the illithids, and the intellect devourers. And
yes, and those are nasty creatures. I, Volo, have had some tight scrapes in my travels, but rarely really had to fear that much. Mostly I am a guest wherever I go. I am known for my books. I've spent some time among the Drow, but they did not treat me too badly. I simply showed up and I said, "It's a me, Volo," and they welcomed me in.
That sounds nice. I wish it was like that for me.
Well, I am very tired, Volo, now. I've been drinking much wine and listening to many stories. I did some writing earlier, and now I am ready to collapse into a bed. But I want to help you out, since you lost everything you have, and you've been so kind as to give me all of these entertaining stories. Let me help you out. And he pulls out a pouch, a velvet pouch, and he sort of pours it out onto the bar, and it's a whole bunch of moonstones. Nicely polished moonstones. And he sort of separates out 5 of them and pushes them over in front of you. And says, "There, let that help you a little bit, since you've lost everything. It's nothing, really."
Oh, thank you, Flavo.
So then he puts the rest of them back in the bag and puts it away and kind of stands up, wobbling. You notice he drops a couple more moonstones on the floor and doesn't seem to notice.
Volo, I think you dropped a couple of your stones there.
He says, "Oh, what?" So he starts looking around and he accidentally steps on one of them, which is in a pool of a copious amount of wine that he's spilled on the floor. And he slips and looks like he's gonna fall. Are you gonna try to catch him or just let him fall?
Oh, god damn it. I'm already getting flashbacks to the peasant farmers. Fuck. Fuck.
What are you gonna do? He's falling.
Yes, I'll try and save him.
Make a dexterity check. Oh, look at that. Yeah, you deftly grab him and set him back aright, and he doesn't even touch the ground at all. He says, thank you. Most kind. So he sort of bends over and picks up the moonstones and puts them back in his purse. Yeah, I'd better get to bed before I hurt myself, eh? You know, if you're looking for somewhere to spend those, there is a wizard up there. And he points up at the second. It's all for you farmers. Those farmers. He points up at the second tier. He says, "There's a wizard up there, Vordaxis, Dragonborn. He sells some things that you might find useful."
Oh, thank you for letting me know that. I shall be sure to avail myself of his services.
So he pats you on the shoulder kind of hard, steadies himself as he almost falls over again, and goes stumbling off to the back where the rooms are. So, Scito, you just got 5 moonstones, which are worth 50 gold pieces each.
Yeah! Pimping myself out to Volo!
And then, we'll come back to you. Alright, so, what's everybody else doing right about now? Is anybody doing anything in particular at this moment?
No, I'm probably stuffing Baby Varys's face.
If I remember remember correctly, I think Nox's character, not Nox. Sardick was gonna go, weren't we gonna go try and fix Cat?
We were starting to kind of talk and get around to that, I think.
As a note, Tiff, you sound as if you're about 5 feet away from your microphone.
Huh. Do I sound closer now?
Slightly.
Yeah, Tiff's always a little bit low. I have her turned up in Discord.
Well, I haven't made any changes to my sound settings, but I'll look.
It's weird. You never had this problem before, but whatever. I just upped the volume. So now if you do change anything to make yourself louder, it'll blow my eardrum.
Excellent.
Nice. Now just bring and held an air horn up to the mic. Right,
now I talk very loud. No, just kidding. I'm not going to do that. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, you also earned 250 XP and a point of inspiration for the story. Since you already have inspiration, you have two choices. You can give this inspiration to Katrin, who has none, or you can put it in the inspiration bank. That's you, Scito.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just trying to because I'm now in push to talk, and I was having to remove things, so I wasn't just typing a bunch of pluses into the message bar, because that's what I'm using as my push to talk button. Nice. Anyways, I think that for now I'll just put it into the bank, because I don't really think Katrin's going to be able to use it very well right now.
Okay, sounds good to me. Inspiration bank is now 1. Alright, so anyway, back to what y'all are doing. Somebody tell me what you're doing.
Does Sardick have the holy symbol that we had found of Timor?
I believe Aura still has that, but it was in with all the other stuff that we put on the table, so I'm not sure exactly where that went.
Yeah, everything that Ara took from that pile where the sacrifice or whatever was, she gave to Will. So Will would have had it. I mean, Roscoe, not Will.
So if you're intending to take it and do something with it, I'm sure you could get it from him. It's not a problem.
I mean, he won't notice if you pickpocket him right now.
Well, he might if I roll very badly.
Nice.
We would probably just make him come with us, right? Hold on.
You're gonna attempt it.
So no, I'm not. So
okay.
Midge is looking at Roscoe and Sardick kind of expectantly. So we're gonna try and fix Katrin, right?
Yeah, definitely. That's what we should do next. And he's just sort of rolling those the bone dice that he had acquired from the table there, and I'm just, well, I guess this is as lucky I'm gonna feel as ever. Yeah, I suppose it's time.
Well, you talked to her last time. Can we afford her services at this point, or what's her asking price? I still think that because everybody's trapped in the Yawning Portal, I mean, metal currency doesn't really have an ascribed value anymore, right? We think that it has value because we're so used to the economic system outside of the portal, but if we're trapped in here, really, bartering's the way to go.
That's true. I tried to get some of these people to see the economics of benevolence last time we were here, but that didn't quite go so well. But she is a cleric of Timor, and well, if luck's on our side, she might be quite interested in that holy symbol that we acquired by the obelisk.
All right. So, Roscoe, Sardick, I guess let's go try to talk to her and see what we can do with what we.
All right. Yes, and well, may luck be on our side. Sardick will go ahead and stand, and he's going to go ahead and take Katrin and kind of sling her over his shoulder, as has sort of become a sort of tradition. And he'll start heading over toward Wicked Wall.
Is anybody going with him?
Ara's gonna go. She's curious. She wants to see what's gonna happen. And plus, we don't want him getting swindled by Wicked, because I think that he was the previous time, so...
It really wasn't with just like 10 gold pieces, you know, for a chance with that. It was pretty benevolent with that, but still.
Yeah, Midge would go too, and we're forcing Roscoe to come with us.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise, if Roscoe wants to sit there, I mean, for that sake, Sardick's naturally madness-inducing grabby hands would acquire the talisman probably pretty...
Yeah, I mean, Roscoe's not here, so I know that he said he wanted to go talk to Vordaxis about buying materials to summon Nevermore, so I'm just going to say he's doing that. That's why he's not actually here for this scene.
Is Azar still just, like, drinking by himself at this point? Like, is he just sitting somewhere drinking?
Some complicated emotions have been brought up here, okay?
Not realizing that he's, like, deep in thought and kind of, like, reflecting on the past, Midge is gonna kind of just, like, look for him, and then if she can spot him, just kind of, like, yell across the room, like, "Hey! We're going over there! You want to come with us?"
I think I just woke up Roscoe by groping him for the talisman.
Oh, yeah.
Scandalous.
Oh, hey,
Highly
he's here.
scandalous.
Oh, hi. What's going on?
We're pickpocketing you.
Yikes.
It's
Yeah,
all to
all
fix Katrin.
That seems worth it.
The time sees nigh, and, well, I feel like if we're going to have any sort of luck, I feel like now is the time to have it.
Ooh, as we're heading over to Wicked Wild, I do cast Good Berry. And, like, very just, like, casually, so that I have a pocket full of good berries right now.
All right. So is Roscoe going with them to talk to Wild, or is he going up to talk to the wizard guy about buying stuff for summoning?
Because I am completely out of context, why don't we have Roscoe break off?
Okay. Maybe he happens to go up there at the same time as Azar. Maybe Azar doesn't go up there. I don't know. We'll come back to that, though. Let's deal with the people that are going to Wicked Wild for now. So, and that is, at this point, Sardick, Midge, and Ara. Correct?
I've
Yes.
also decided
Yes.
I'll come along.
Ah,
Oh, okay, good.
So I'm taking a bottle of whatever booze has been left by Bola.
All right, you find the one bottle that he didn't manage to knock over.
Yes.
The one that Roscoe caught like 4 times.
Well, the quest
Take good
handout
care
has
of it.
been updated, and there's a new handout called House Rules that you might want to take a gander at. I just explained this stuff to everybody else.
Okay.
And okay, so you all head over. Wicked Wild has her own big table. She's in the common room though, on the ground floor. She's not up with the merchants or the nobles, and she's always kind of kicked back with her boots up on the table. And she gives you all a sort of lopsided grin as you approach. Well, welcome back.
Yes, peace be with you, child of Timora. As you can see, it seems like we've fallen in need of your services.
Oh, you're actually carrying Katrin, right?
He's carrying her, on his shoulder.
What happened to your friend there? She looks like she's seen better days.
It was quite a gruesome fight down there with there was bugbears and gloom stalkers, and from what I remember, we had one of the bugbears that was slain. Actually, I think a couple of them. These creatures, brains with legs, basically, just burst out and started running rampant. And one of them attacked Katrin there, and it just seemed to just completely devour her mind, and she's just totally unresponsive. I don't think there's anything in my repertoire that I can do to bring her back myself.
Wild says, well, that's pretty rough. I don't think I've met your friends here. Who are these others with you? You were Sardick, right?
Yes, Sardick Drizzlebeard. This is my friend here, Aura, and he'll point over to his left and give her a nod. And also Midge on this side of me, and he'll nod as well. This is Wicked Wild. She's a cleric of Timora.
Hello.
Hey.
I didn't get introduced.
Yeah, she looks at Azar and Midge. And what about these other two?
I'm sorry there. I didn't notice you come by. I thought you were still at the bar. Yes, this is Azar. It's a rather complicated situation. You see that other one? There's Roscoe that's over there by the table, and you see he fell into a pit, and they kind of split apart, and now there's Azar and there's Roscoe. It's sort of like an Azar-Roscoe situation. And, so one went down and they both kind of rose up.
Well, you're going to be filling up that bank quickly, I think.
As Sardick
There's
saying
another
this,
one.
Midge just expression completely deadpan, is just shaking her head, making eye contact with Wicked Wild and just shaking her head no.
It's almost as good as Ara having a baby down in the dungeon.
All right, do you
Actually,
want to
both Ara and Midge have had babies down in the dungeon, according to Sardick.
Yes,
That's so true.
yes.
Look, that
Oh, by the
dungeon
way,
is wild.
It is. Will, do you have inspiration right now, or do you not?
I do.
Okay.
I think Sardick might have given it to me during the last fight, because I think I used it. I used it once during the session, but I think something would have gotten it. I think Sardick got it back, and I was the only one who had.
I don't know. I lost all my notes, so I'm winging it now. But
I have the thing checked, and I've been pretty good about it.
Okay, I believe you. So, you just got another one there, Nox. So, do you want to give it to Katrin or put it in the bank?
Being the benevolent sort, I will give that to Katrin.
Okay. So, by the way, Will, welcome. How'd your test go?
Thank you. 8 hours down, and not dead inside, so that's good.
Not dead inside is just great. And you had some cake?
That's the best I can say for it, yeah.
What was the test for?
It's sort of the first of 3 parts of a medical licensing test thing, so yay.
Cool.
Oh, you're getting your medical degree?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I would be more excited if I didn't have to go through an 8-hour test for it today, but no, thank you.
And it's like for the PhD, the comprehensive. That was not fun.
Yeah.
Congrats on getting through it and still being alive inside.
That's the goal.
Yes. I mean, it would really be shitty if you died taking a medical exam test.
You know, that was a joke that we've made because a lot of questions say like a medical student does something or other, and like they start turning yellow. What's wrong with them?
Ooh,
So
I know,
we're like-
I know. They fell in a vat of highlighter.
You got it. That's a classic.
Yes!
Presenting sim.
Or it's jaundice.
But yeah. but no, my friends and I, when dark humor comes up, it's like a medical student dies while taking their NDME practice exams. What happened? But anyway, that's over.
You take them directly to the morgue
Exactly.
for the other medical students.
Well, at least it wasn't a genetics test, or you might have died of anticipation. Joke only he and I will get.
Except I did have questions
I
on
don't think
anticipation.
I don't get it. All the liberal arts majors out there, we don't get it.
See, anticipation is a concept in genetics in which a genetic condition becomes more severe and more prevalent as through generations due to the reproduction of certain base pairs.
Have I not already been through enough today?
Okay. We're gonna go. Let's go fix Katrin. We got this. Do we have enough? Do we have enough money to actually fix her?
If this fails.
So anyway, Wicked Wild says, "And what about you?" And she's looking at Midge now.
Oh, I already got introduced by Sardick, but hi.
Did
I'm
he
Midge.
already introduce Midge? I didn't
Yeah,
hear
he
him.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I introduced Aura and then Midge, and then Azar came in from the back.
Oh, okay. So the introductions are done. Well, I'm Wild. I'm a servant of Timora, although I like to do things my own way. So, you need some help for your friend there? Is that why you come to see me, or do you just want to play some pickpocket?
Well, it was quite a spirited game last time, as I recall, though your 9s beat my 4s quite badly, but, well, there was another reason why, we'd come to see you, that, it was actually quite in the area where, Katrin befell this fate. There was an odd sort of an obelisk that was there, and there was a shrine behind it, and, we found a curious item that, well, it's apparently a symbol of Timora that's not one of her most common symbols, but, well, perhaps just the sight of it would be all the explanation you need. And sort of
Oh,
like with a
really?
grand gesture, he's going to kind of like produce it.
She raises an eyebrow. She looks mildly intrigued as you're explaining this.
I present it like Vanna White.
Ding!
Nice.
So she reaches out for it. May I?
Yes, certainly.
Alright, so she takes it and she looks at it. And after a couple of seconds, you see her eyes kind of widen. She looks up at you. She looks back at it. She flips it over. She looks at the back. She looks at the edges. She's like touching it and like running her finger along the grooves of the carving in the wood. She says, "It can't be. This isn't. Give me a moment." And she holds the symbol up to her forehead and like presses it there and closes her eyes. And you see her lips moving, but you don't hear any words. What is that Samuel L. Jackson picture?
It's from Pulp Fiction with the briefcase that's supposed to have.
Oh, right. When he looks in there.
It's supposed to be a gift, but the gift didn't work, so.
Okay, I get it though. Nice.
Yeah, we definitely still get the point.
So she's got her eyes closed and she has a symbol pressed up to her forehead and she's mouthing something with her lips, but you can't hear any sound. What do you do?
Sardick will look at this interestingly, and he'll kind of turn and... I think she's in some sort of a divine communion, would be my guess.
Midge gives 2 thumbs up.
I think that item is quite of an interest to her.
See, this is what I'm talking about. We find useful items and objects that people are interested in and exchange services and goods with those instead of currency. It makes so much more sense.
Well, you do have a point there. I mean, hopefully one day, I can start like a dairy confectionery for diamonds program where I can acquire
I think that would
a
be
whole bunch of
amazing.
gems that are able to raise dead, just for like a revivification for the price of a cannoli at that point.
What's
Look,
a cannoli?
If we continue to be trapped in here, who knows? You will probably be able to do that. People will begin just getting desperate for something other than whatever it is that's being served here, right?
Exactly. Cannoli, it's one of those it's quite a delicious dairy baked good there that back when I was with the Gladenbergs, they made an amazing cannoli, but of course the milk was from the Wyvern Jack's own steeds. Of course it was completely just totally scrumptious.
Take your word for it.
He just said milk from steeds. Draw your
He
own
did.
conclusions.
He
Also said
did.
Wyvern Jack, which since the beginning, I've imagined that the Wyvern Jack is like a jackalope. So I'm very confused.
Well, he got milk from steeds, so yeah. I'm all set with that. I don't think I'll ever try it.
So, finally, after about 5 minutes, she opens her eyes and looks up and looks at the symbol again. And she speaks in a near whisper. I can't believe it. Do you know what it is you've brought me?
Absolutely not.
Probably a
Is it
cannoli's
good?
worth.
Well, I know it's a less used symbol of Timora, but that's about as much as I'm aware of.
This is a Pawn Stars moment.
Oh, I
She
was
says-
thinking it was more Antique Roadshow.
Well, I was thinking Pawn. I was thinking Pawn Stars because a woman brought in like one of the Fabergé eggs, and she wanted like $100 for it, and the guy ended up giving her like 17,000 for it.
Nice.
Wait, how did she
So-
end up with a Fabergé egg? What the fuck?
She found it in her grandmother's like storage after her grandmother died, and she was like, I don't know what it is and I don't really want it. It doesn't look good in my apartment. And the guy was like, I have to be honest with you. He's like, I know, like I could probably screw you at this point. He's like, but this thing right here is worth so much more than you're asking. And she ended up getting $17,000 for it.
Nice.
I always prefer Antique Roadshow just because, with the equal glee in which that old British guy would either tell a person they got something that's worth a ton of money, or the thing they thought was worth a ton of money is just complete bullshit. just the complete sameness of voice.
Well, I
Yes,
was thinking more like we were walking in for something worth 640 dragons when it's probably really worth a resurrection.
So, what is that image, Nox?
Those are
So-
cows pulling a chariot.
Oh, all I see is what looks like a piece of poop.
Yep.
Oh no!
It mustn't have loaded properly.
So
If you click on the link, you can see it. But
Oh, okay. So,
I'm scared of clicking on Nox link.
oh, it's
Especially
better
if
not
they
be
load
happy
poop.
cow.
It's not a happy cow.
So she says, "This is a unique symbol. This is a well-known relic of my faith. I've seen pictures of this. It was thought lost. This is the symbol of Aresia Ambergiles. She was the the High Priestess of the House of the Lady in Shadowdale, and she was one of the Knights of Myth Draenor. She's a great saint of the Timoran faith. This was her symbol. How did you get this?
I picked it up.
Well, as I mentioned, it was by an odd sort of a shrine that was in this obelisk that in a place that was inhabited by bugbears and goblins and, well, those sorts of creatures that fell Katrin here. I don't quite know how it got down there, but I know the obelisk itself was an odd sort of thing. It was sucking the life out of Azar Roscoe over there, and Aura too. She fell to it.
That's remarkable. I wonder how it got down there. I can't believe this. Truly, Timora has blessed me with great luck. This has great value to me. I will. And she hauls out her coin purse, and she starts laying out all of her coins from the purse, empties it out, and starts counting to see what she's got. It looks like quite a few gold coins, and there's a few platinum and some silver. So she's kind of counting what she's got there.
Can I kind of like put my hand over her money and say, can we exchange this in a couple favors instead of money?
She looks up and a smile spreads across her face. She says, that would be even better. Look, I've got around 500 gold here, and I'll give it all to you for this symbol. But, as you say, if you'd rather take it out in credit, I could multiply that tenfold.
Well, I was thinking, and I kind of look at the rest of the group to see if anybody has like an approval as I say this. We were looking for greater restoration for Katrin, right?
And also Sardick.
Okay. I'm asking out of character who we were looking.
You don't know that.
What we were looking for. Yeah, you don't even know that about Sardick.
But yes,
I do so know. Look, I've seen some shit. I know the victim of intellect devourers.
I'll pose this out.
Regardless.
Do we really want a greater restoration for Sardick?
I mean, technically, no, I don't, because I love Sardick the way he is right now. But in all fairness, I believe that he deserves his intelligence back. So I was thinking,
intelligence back really no difference.
I was thinking like 2 greater restoration. I was asking out of character if it was a greater restoration was the spell we were looking for.
That is the spell, yeah.
Okay, so maybe 2 greater restorations and a favor if necessary down the road.
If the credits translate to dragons in terms of her service, then 500 times 10 is definitely good.
I was thinking like potentially maybe a restoration or 2 if need be, or a resurrection or something. We're going back down and we've only hit the first level, so...
Yeah, I would say definitely in the realm of credit, because that obviously there's a whole bunch of things on there that most likely will become quite useful.
Yeah.
You should be discussing this in character. What do your characters say about this?
Well, I as Aura, I will suggest 2 greater restorations now and potentially a favor or 2 down the road.
How's it going, Phantom?
I think she only needs 1 restoration. I mean, Valgora still seems to have her sanity, even though she comes and goes, and like practically all of us. I think I'm the only one that hasn't had a Valgora at the moment. Well, Azar as well, but still. Yeah, I think she only needs would need 1 hit of such a blast of healing magic.
Intelligence check from the Cleric to see if she understands who the second one's for.
No, I think she's used to weird
people.
Yeah. She doesn't really think anything's too weird about Sardick, other than him just being weird. I'm doing good, Phantom Viper, thanks. So, she says, look, I'm feeling inspired. You've seen my prices for the blessings that I offer for sale, right? And she shows you the card with the prices. It's the make your own luck handout.
Yep.
Yes, that I have.
So
Quite
I'm
well
talking
from last
about
time.
the neighborhood of about 5,000 dragons worth of credit for any blessings you need now or in the future. That'll more than pay for multiple greater restorations. Easily, plus a lot left over. But I'm feeling real inspired. Tymora is the lady of fortune and luck. And we shouldn't just make this a straightforward deal. We should play around a pickpocket. If I win, you give me the symbol for 2,500 credit, which is still more than enough for what you need. If you win, I give you 10,000 credit.
Sardick will kind of think this over and then kind of stroke his beard as he considers and say, well, speaking of pickpocket, I remember last time when I was rolling to save the life of that noble. And I remember you rolled a 9 on the purse, and I rolled a 4 on the thieves, but I remember you had said something about 2 out of 3, and I know you rolled and then I rolled, but I think that was just a one thing, just a one game thing. Could this potentially be a 2 out of 3, perhaps, and let luck see where it lies?
As a specialist in the school of divination, I can tell you this right now. It's better to stick with what one has than to attempt to play for more.
That may be true, but I really like if we're trying to establish a whole new economic system in the portal, I do like throwing in this whole factor of luck and I guess a gambling element. So your typical exchange of goods and services, yes, but there's also an element of the unknown involved. I think this sets an interesting precedent, and I'm willing to see where it pans out.
She says, I'll tell you what, I feel very strongly that this is the way it should be. This is the way of Tymora, and for such an important relic of her faith, we should do things as Tymora would want it. So I'll make it even better for you. We'll play once, and if you beat me once, you win. If I win, we'll make it 2 out of 3.
I don't feel like we have anything to lose in this gamble. We're still getting what we were going to get, regardless. I think that we have nothing to lose in this situation, and that is my opinion.
I would agree, and it seems fitting somehow that to trade such a sacred relic of Tymora, and, well, Hathor herself is known as the Dancer of Fortune. That is one of her titles, so I am inclined to accept that.
Am I the only one who read the stories about the Queen of Hearts and how, despite being the daughter of Tymora, she constantly got screwed over? Am I the only one?
We're not really getting screwed over.
Let's
I'm
go
not
read
much
it
of a
from
reader.
far away.
I've heard that,
I'm not
but
much of a reader.
I know even from the Wyvern Jack's own exploits, things that many would consider odd, like such as writing words in the sky and claiming them from a god can set even the most desperate minotaur free from a burden.
That character, fan advice, she basically grew up in
Azar
the
is just going
sewers.
to open up the ball and just take a long swig. And every time a person's about to talk to him, he just raises his finger like, just wait, just wait, just wait.
Yeah, I'm not waiting. I think we should go for it.
And then he finishes the bottle.
I don't think we have anything to lose in this situation. She's still going to give us the greater restorations, which were the main focus of giving the thing. Plus, we're getting extra in the end. And if we win against her, we're still going to get extra. I think it's worth it.
So who's going to play? Is it going to be you again, Sardick, or somebody else want to take their hand at the dice?
I feel it's only fitting for Sardick to play.
What is this? Like a dexterous sort of game, or like you gotta be smart to play it?
It's
I
a
think
game of
pure
luck.
Yeah,
It's pure
sorry,
chance.
stop it.
It's pure chance unless you try to cheat. Then it's sleight of hand.
Well, what if you give someone guidance? I don't know why I'm speaking in my character voice when I ask this.
I don't think guidance wouldn't really help, unless they're trying to cheat. Then the guidance would help them cheat.
Right.
If
Gotcha.
for some reason,
Important.
if for some reason they need the roll to be a 15, I still have a portent left.
He rolls a 15 on a d6.
15 would you'd be captured by the city watch, and anything above a 10 you get captured by the city watch and you fail.
So don't give anybody the 15.
Give Wild the 15. That would freak her out.
No, you can't, because that 15 is only on a d20 roll. These aren't d20s.
Oh,
Oh man. All right, Sardick.
Are you ready to do this?
fortune.
May Timora's
Sardick will-
fortune be with you.
Yes,
And you.
and you as well.
So she's gonna roll her mahogany 10-sided die. I'm gonna be rolling twice because that's a thing with her, but she's actually only rolling it once. She rolls a 7. She says the mark has been rolled, and now the purse is set to 7. It is your turn to roll the thieves. Do you have your own dice, or will you be using mine?
Yes, I believe I'll use mine for this. And Sardick will produce 2 from the bone dice set. And he'll actually turn to Midge and kind of hold out his hand and... I believe in terms of luck, it's a tradition for a fellow compatriot to blow upon the dice for luck.
Midge will take you at your word for that and do that.
And once she does, he'll go ahead and shake them vigorously in his hand and roll them upon the table.
I can see Midge blowing way too hard. The dice go tumbling off on the ground.
Oh yeah, there's definitely saliva all over those dice now.
Well, it looks like my thieves weren't up to the task.
Ah, what a shame. The thieves were unfortunately caught by the watch, and you did not win the purse. However, as I've said, we will now do best 2 out of 3, so you've got another chance. Let me roll again. Nice dice, by the way.
Thank you. They were found in the entry to the portal, actually.
She rolls a 5 this time. Let's see what the thieves have to do this time.
Okay, and this time he'll just sort of close his eyes and concentrate and mutter a small prayer under his breath, and when the feeling finally strikes him, he'll go ahead and throw them upon the table. Ugh.
Oh, what a shame. It seems the watch has caught the thieves yet again. It seems the Timora does not favor you this time. But I hope you will enjoy the 2,500 dragons worth of credit for my services nonetheless.
Yes, most definitely. I thank you greatly for it.
So, would you like to use some of that credit now, then?
Yes, indeed. Katrin here is in quite a need for healing, as you've seen.
By the way, if you wish to play more pickpocket with me, I'll play as much as you want. You can bet right out of your credit. You don't even have to give me coin.
No, I think we'll keep credit.
think she means that, from what we had talked about earlier, is that before any sort of a blessing of Timora, that she does play pickpocket, and, if the supplicant happens to win, then it's done free of charge.
That was a one-time thing.
All right.
Because it was your first time. But if you simply wish to play for money or for more credit anytime, any of you that want to come play, I'm always available. I love the roll of the dice.
I can see why. They do seem to have quite a liking to you.
So, how about this one? And she looks at Katrin. She's tucked away that holy symbol somewhere.
Yeah, and if her table is empty at this point or whatnot, Sardick will lay her out upon it.
Wild kind of starts examining her. Well, what happened to her exactly? You said something about having her mind devoured or something?
Exactly. We were fighting some goblins and some bugbear. I don't know exactly which one. I think it might have been one of the bugbears, but when it fell, this creature came out of it. A giant brain sort of thing with legs, and, it was running all around, and Katrin chased it to try to slay it, and, it seemed to just sort of mentally attack her in a sense, and, after that she was completely unresponsive.
She says, I understand. I've had victims of such creatures brought to me before. This is going to call for a blessing of greater restoration, for which I charge a mandatory donation of 640 gold dragons. But that can be taken right out of your credit, if you so desire.
Yes, if you please. Most indefinitely.
Very well, then. And she lays her hand on Katrin's head, and she prays to Timora. Lady Luck, let your blessing fall upon this child, and restore unto her all that was lost. In your name we trust always, blessed Timora. And there's a sort of glow of divine energy, and Katrin's eyes pop open, and she sits up, kind of gasping. What happened? What? How did I get here? She looks around. We're in the portal again? What's going on?
Oh, that we are. Oh, by the light, it's as if you've rolled back the malady that was upon her. Oh, you're not a bad sort. You're not a bad sort at all. And Sardick will just sort of take Katrin and kind of lift her up and set her upon the floor with a little bit of a hug and go, you're in a bad state indeed, but you're all well again.
She says, "Oh, wow. I feel really, really good, actually. Really good. Like, I don't know if I've ever felt this good." She stands up from the table. She's kind of stretching and like, and testing out her limbs and stuff. And everybody's here. Wait, not everybody.
Well, not everyone. That other one that went to help you take down those walking brains, those brains with feet. Well, he ended up trying to turn on us, and Midge turned him into a rat and we dropped him down a pit. That vile revenant.
So
Oh,
yes,
all right. Well,
you appear to have a revenant on your tails for all of eternity. Good luck with that.
Well,
Also,
he kind of
hello.
creeped me out anyway. Who are you? She says.
You're part of this group now.
Oh, that right there, that's Roscoe's other half. Roscoe dropped down into a pit and, well, he kind of fell and split into two, and now it's Azar and Roscoe. It's Azar-Roscoe situation there.
What do you mean he split into two? This guy doesn't look anything like Roscoe. He looks like some sort of tradesman. What's your trade, sir?
Well, actually, these are borrowed clothes. I'm a wizard.
Oh, a wizard. Cool.
Yes.
Well, I'm
Though
Katrin.
Good to meet you, Katrin. I am Azar. Azar Cullis.
So, how long has it been? How long have I been out?
A year! No, just kidding. It's been like 13 hours or something.
In this game, that's a year.
True. But it's good to have you back.
Didn't we have like our first 5 sessions in 13 hours?
Something
Jeez,
like
it was
that. I don't
something
know.
like that, yeah.
Technically, it's been like 3 weeks.
She looks at Wild and she says, "You're the one that brought me back?" And Wild says, "Yeah. Actually, it was Timora that brought you back. I was merely the vessel. It was my pleasure." She says, "Wow, thank you. Thank you. I feel great. I don't know what you did to me, but it was really good." So, what's happening now? Katrin says. She's just kind of looking around like in confusion.
Well, how great do you feel? I mean, do you feel as if the curse you had mentioned to us, well, back when we met you, is been taken care of with this?
She tries to pull the shield, which is shrunk down to its smaller size. She tries to pull it off her arm and it doesn't budge. He says, "Well, this thing's still stuck to me, so..." Hold on. Yeah, she nods. I can still feel Valgara there in the back of my head somewhere, trying to get out. So Wild says, "So, is there anything else you need right now? Want to play some more pickpocket, or maybe you need another blessing of some sort?"
I kind of look at Midge and Roscoe to kind of see how they feel about, and then like kind of do like a point to Sardick and shrug at them.
So Roscoe's off talking to the Dragonborn dude actually now.
Oh, you weren't there. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
So I point to Midge and I do that.
Seeing that, Midge would actually turn to Sardick and say, "Okay, so let's say, Sardick, that one of us, let's say you, for example, were afflicted with something similar, but not to the extent of what Katrin was afflicted with. If it were you in that position, would you want to get your faculties back? I'm just curious."
Like if you were at 40% when you could be at 100.
Well, I mean, I suppose, well, Katrin there, she needed the power of a greater restoration. I mean, I would simply be able to cast lesser restoration upon myself, and then I would feel just right as rain.
No.
I actually don't know if that's how this kind of magic works, so I mean, he might be right. But either way, if for example, there was something wrong with you, would you want to get it fixed? Would you want it fixed? Or do you think that's something that you could live with? I guess.
So we're talking like a speculative future thing, kind of.
Yes. Oh, yeah. No, let's go with that. Let's say let's all talk about this now. If one of us encounters the same fate as Katrin did, but by some strange stroke of luck, somebody was able to lessen the effects of it, to make you essentially functional. So, we didn't have to deal with everything that we dealt with Katrin. Like, you could walk on your own and things like that, and even form thoughts. Would you want to be fixed and return to your original
Just thinking that.
I'm going to say right now, I would.
I get you. So I think you're trying to say that, like, if I die, and, well, if I weren't there to revivify myself, I didn't quite have the chance to do that before I just totally kicked the bucket there. Then what is it? Oh, right. Azar over there would raise me up as like a skeleton, would animate me like a dead kind of thing. Well,
Yeah,
and
he's
then
kind of.
yeah. I mean, I suppose I wouldn't want a DNR on me. Do not resurrect.
He's lost half
I
of his
would
mind.
would want it.
Do not raise dead.
Do not restoration. I don't want any major
So-
life-saving interventions.
I'm gonna put my hands on Stardick's shoulder and I'm gonna say, okay, remember when you were attacked by the brain puppy, and then you woke up and you kind of felt off a little, but you weren't really sure, so you kind of just rolled with it, and you kind of rolled with it since then. Like, you are running at like maybe 60% of what you should be running at mind-wise. Would you like to be back at 100?
I don't quite know what you mean. I mean, yeah, I felt a little bit off, like when that happened, but, I remember, that specific thing. You're talking in the pillar room. The pillar room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the book
And
and then the things that
Yeah.
came out of the book. After that, you weren't quite the same. Do you want to be
That's-
back to how you were before? Or are you happy
Well, I
with how
mean-
you are now?
I felt a little bit off for a little bit there, but really, Hathor's blessing led me back into the light. That I was just simply able to use my the holy influence bestowed onto me just to simply resist and just shrug off the effects of these brain puppies. Just completely just shrug it off.
Cloud looks at Ara and says, he was attacked by one of those things too, huh?
Yes. And we
But-
brought him back to an extent.
Well, the power of my faith. Well, I know Roscoe up there. He did this odd thing, and he just kept reading to me and droning on and on from this book, and this weird sort of book that just seems to conjure up monsters where we go. It's a really odd sort of thing. But we're trying to get him maybe to kind of calm that down a bit. But anyway,
I think
it-
I think it's only by the grace of your goddess that we are where we are right this moment with this chance to make you whole again. And
You can
you
yell
know
at
what?
those now.
I'm gonna.
I mean, we love you regardless of what
Okay,
you choose.
You're not here, Roscoe, and I'm talking about
Yeah.
Roscoe. Midge just yells like up into the balcony or something like, "I'm talking about Hathor, Roscoe."
Roscoe's like, I never want to dig. I'm sorry.
It's that damn book.
Get out of my brain. I think Hathor wanted us to be here right now, presented with this opportunity, not to make decisions for any other individual, but you should consider that, Sardick, it is by the grace of your goddess that we are at a crossroads.
Here right now.
And
Well,
also, I just think we should go for it.
I'm going to just sort of put my hand on Sark's shoulder. Now, Sardick, we haven't known each other long, but in that time, you accused me of having split off from Roscoe like some sort of deity, some sort of deific reproduction.
You're a simulacrum.
Now,
well, it is in line with the stuff that he's been doing. I mean, we all bore witness. I mean, poor Katrin, she had
actually
quite a
has a
fright
point
that time
there.
when the shadow, that Nevermore thing, the shadow just broke right off of him. And now you just broke off of him when you fell in that pit. And, falling down 30 feet, I mean, that's a pretty jarring thing.
I don't want to
Right.
pick Sardick.
Right. Look.
Hold on a second. Will, just so you know, if you want to have Roscoe walk up and get involved in this at any time, you can.
Okay, I just never know how much longer it's gonna go on, to be honest. I feel like Roscoe's thing probably wouldn't have taken super long, so he might have actually, in game time, made it back by this point. Oh well.
Wouldn't you like it if, say, everything you were reading, because this seems to be the case, that you seem to think that everything's written in Elvish now?
Well, that's the posh thing that these Waterdavians are doing lately. You know, there's this whole Elvish revival thing, and you know, it's the posh sort of thing to have, you know, all going and whatnot. It's quite odd. I don't quite get it myself. I'm more of a sort of a meat and potatoes dwarven kind of guy, but
Wouldn't you like it if you could read Elvish? This woman can let you read Elvish.
Wild looks at Azar and shakes her head. She says, I don't really have any blessings to do
Deception
that.
check.
You can help him read Elvish, and he's sort of making a gesture of something small suddenly growing larger and pointing at Sardick's head.
Sardick will kind of look toward Wicked Wild and go, I don't think we have the ability to do any sort of a comprehending of languages. I don't think that's quite in our wheel set here. I mean, I think I remember someone on the ship that was able to do it.
Seems to me that they're suggesting that some damage has been done to your mind. You might not realize it. And I could help you with it if you wish.
Well, I mean, we only have a little bit of credit. It seems an odd thing to kind of waste on something that's so unlikely. I mean, just look at me, and he's just going to kind of walk around and see. I'm fine. I feel fine, and I look fine. And if they're over by the wall, he'll kind of walk up on the little sea. I'm able to use the boots quite spryly, you know, and he'll kind of walk down and all that kind of stuff. I don't know why people are kind of insinuating that I'm not quite fine, but I seem perfectly in charge of my faculties.
All right, I'm going to do a little experiment here. And is there like a piece of charcoal or chalk around that I can use?
No. Not right here.
Okay. I had a freaking pen and ink and everything. God damn it, that's still in the dungeon. God damn it.
But, okay. But Volo did leave some paper and ink and stuff behind carelessly at the bar over where he was.
Alright, I'm going to run over there, grab it, and say, alright, I'm going to write something that's in common. Alright? And then I'm going to write, this is not in Elvish. And then I show this to Sardick.
Roscoe walks up and is like, why are you writing in Elvish?
See right there. I knew. This is some sort of duplicity, and notice see that connection there. The two of you have to be related, just from the fall there. It's just, I mean, I imagine one time, you're just going to kind of meld back together eventually. But yeah, exactly. I'm as confident in that as I am that is indeed Elvish. I mean, it's sort of a more country Elvish, perhaps, but still it's Elvish.
Wild says, let me see that. Show it to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely Elvish. She just kind of she sort of winks at Roscoe.
Okay, so we're literally just trying to ensure that person never reaches his full capacity here. We're literally playing with a disabled person right now. That's what we're doing.
To be fair, he doesn't want to be fixed. He's pretty much made that known. He does not feel that he is broken. He does not feel that he's not up to his full capacity. So, I mean, we've all tried to convince him otherwise, and he is convinced that there is nothing wrong with him, and we're not going to force him into a spell if he doesn't want it.
I mean, if you're really itching to, to spend some of our recently earned credits, I do know of someone that, actually is in need of help. He's down there in the basement. I was trying to get him raised before, but I wasn't going to mention it myself since we lost the pickpocketing there, that I'd, raise it up myself with the grace of the mints of heaven eventually.
I think we have enough credits to perhaps raise a dead body in skeleton form. I don't think that's what you intend, though. Like, you want to bring him back to life.
Oh, if we need to raise the dead, I can do that. That's simple.
Well, we have preserved life on him, right? So he actually has only been dead.
Gentle
Would have
repose,
been
yeah.
Or gentle repose, yeah. So it only counts as like a couple hours, I think, unless we didn't sleep the first night, did we?
Yeah, you did. You didn't go in until the next day, so he was down there quite a few hours before you guys found him.
Yeah, and Revivify is 1 minute, so that was never going to make it. And Raise Dead is the next tier up.
And, I mean, we've been trying to get diamonds for Revivify, and those are worth 300 gold pieces. Raise Dead is a diamond worth 500, I believe.
Yes.
So, Wild sort of motions over to Ara, and she says, the rest of you talk amongst yourselves for a moment. Would you come here for a moment?
I walk over to her.
Alright, so she kind of pulls Ara aside, and she says, listen, I can cast the restoration on him if you want me to, whether he agrees or not, because he might not be in full control of. But you just tell me whether or not I should.
I feel like I should talk to everybody. He's been just as helpful as he would be if he were at full capacity, I believe. I am more concerned about his confusion with reading and writing and stuff like that. But I mean, as far as like his spell casting goes and maintaining like enough intelligence to know right from wrong, we've been fine in that sense. But I would really like to just discuss it with everybody else because it is everybody's credit. But I definitely feel that he would benefit from it. Based on the fact that if he is attacked by an intellectual devourer again, it could possibly kill him. But beyond that, I think that it's really a group decision.
Alright, well, whatever you decide. Just let me know.
Yeah, we'll definitely let you know. I'll talk to them. I think in the long run he'd appreciate it, but I don't want to do something that he might be offended by later.
I understand.
So I'll walk over to Midge, and where is Roscoe in positioning to Midge?
Honestly, I hadn't really intended Roscoe to join in. I just wanted to make a joke, and I guess he got roasted.
Now here we are.
Roscoe is, I guess we're like huddled up talking because Wicked Wild.
Yeah. But I would speak in Elvish just because I'm assuming that Sardick doesn't understand it and you all do. And I would just explain what she explained, that like she could cast the spell on him without like his consent, basically. Spell rape, woo! But that she basically, like, I just wanted to discuss it with everybody before we made that decision, that I think that it would benefit him, but it doesn't change like what he's done so far, knowing right from wrong, being like aware. It's more I'm just concerned about his reading, writing, and kind of the common sense where he thinks we're all having babies and splitting apart. But I mean, that adds to the comedical factor of what we're going through there. So
I think it's
and I just kind
cruel
of
to
give
keep
that.
somebody's intelligence low just so they remain entertaining to us.
Yes, exactly. So
Yeah, that's a little bit
Yeah.
evil.
I'm pretty sure I fixed him properly the first time when I fixed him, to be honest. Okay, maybe not entirely.
Yes, By the way, I rather would like to have a talk with you about that book sometime.
Oh, it's a play.
Oh, please don't bring
it's-
don't no.
It's a play. It's nothing too special.
Oh, it sounds like something special. I've read about many magical artifacts and this one seems something touched by the far realm, and that is something I'm quite fascinated in.
Wait, before you bookworms get very off track with Roscoe's really weird book, are we fixing Sardick or not? I think we should.
I think we should. I think it comes down to a vote.
Yes, I would say that given that you were friends with the man previously, and he has been diminished intellectually speaking, to do otherwise would essentially be saying that you were not truly friends of the old side.
We don't need the moral. We just want to know yes or no.
All right. Yes.
Roscoe?
I am all for us being at the complete top of our game going down into this, just because it is quite dangerous down there. So, I vote.
Alright, so I'm going to try to catch Wicked's eye.
Okay.
And if I do, I'm going to nod and just kind of give her, like, the go ahead.
Alright, so she takes one of Sardick's hands and she says, "You have very interesting hands. It looks like these hands have seen and done a lot, haven't they?" She's kind of examining Sardick's hand.
Well, yes. Other shipwrights' hands. I've been serving on a ship for, quite a while, and yes, a cargo ship actually. They're nice, rough, strong hands. They are.
While she's got a hold of your hand, you probably don't even have to touch someone for greater restoration, do you? I don't even know.
I think you do. Yeah, it is a touch spell.
Okay, so she says, "I know that my blessed lady of fortune, Timora, wants to bless you in every way possible, and so I call upon her now to give you her divine touch, that you may achieve your highest fortunes ever." And there's a glow. And Sardick, you feel like this veil being torn away from your mind. Like, imagine you've been walking through life and you had a filter over your eyes. Like sunglasses, like dark sunglasses, but you didn't know you had the sunglasses on. And you just thought that's the color that everything was. And suddenly the sunglasses are taken off and you can see everything in full color, in full clarity and detail, and you didn't even realize before that moment that you weren't seeing everything that way.
That's what Roscoe's been telling everyone about the Far Realm. Sorry.
So, in other
Sardick.
words, you are restored to your original intelligence, and you no longer have the madness desire to collect all kinds of useless crap.
Okay, and I'm sure the ability to
madness of
read is
Scito.
restored as well.
Yes, the ability to read is restored as well.
Okay. Sardick will kind of look around and, he'll regard Wicked Wild and go, Well, thank you for this blessing. Yes, I don't think I'm quite familiar with this particular brand of clerical magic. It's kind of odd. I feel like I was kind of seeing everything in quite from a literally bovine colors, quite from black and whites, but now it seems like there's kind of shades of shades of gray in there, and a bit of blues and such.
God damn it, Nox. Alright, Azar is going to pull up that piece of paper. So, what does this paper say now?
See, you got it. You finally got it there. That right there. Now that is indeed not an Elvish thing. I mean, I would prefer for it to be in Dwarvish, of course.
I would have died if he was like, why is that an Elvish?
Fun brain surgery
The
between
restoration
friends.
didn't work. This is just Sardick.
no, that just would have been great if he kept the
Nice.
faculty that we were all joking about that, and then he turned around and was like, why is that an Elvish? Sorry.
Yeah, so if you want Sardick's personality to have been permanently changed in some way as a result of what happened to him, that's fine. He's just restored. His intelligence is obviously now much better. And
Yeah, it's all the way up to 8. That's amazing.
you no longer have any compulsion. To... Hey, 8's a lot higher than 4.
That's a good point. It's above Jomo's level again.
Yep. Its intelligence is in slow-mo.
So, yeah. What do you do?
Oh yes, as I can see there, that's actually some common. That's something I'm quite able to read. That's more like it.
Right.
So that leaves us with 1320 for gold. For
1220.
1220? Okay. Yeah, okay.
That's still enough for a raised death.
I can't math.
Yeah, and he did mention to Wicked Wild that apparently he wasn't aware of that particular brand of clerical magic. He doesn't quite recognize it as a greater restoration laid upon him as such.
Well, Tamora works in mysterious ways.
Well, I imagine it's then quite a boon granted specifically from her. Well, thank you very much.
Oh, it's my pleasure to be of service. Will you be needing any other blessings today, friends?
Not today. I think we'll reserve the rest for another time.
Yes, thank you very much.
Well, thank you. And remember, whenever you want to test the luck of the dice, I'm here waiting.
Keep that in mind.
So, here's what I'm going to say to you, Will. While they were doing that, you went up to try to find the guy that would sell you the components to summon Nevermore again. And he wasn't at his normal table. And somebody sitting at the next table said, "Oh, he just stepped out for a moment. He'll be right back." So presumably you waited for him to come right back, and he didn't come back for a long time. So I'm assuming that's when you sort of wandered off and reconnected with the party.
Okay. Does it look like he's back there now?
Yeah, you see the big dragonborn guy. He actually walks right past all of you.
Roscoe's gonna
Very well-dressed.
debate stopping him for a second, and when he's just far enough away that it's awkward to call out. Oh wait, excuse me. Oh, what was his name? Roscoe's gonna run up after him. Excuse me. Do we actually know his name? Oh, actually, someone referred us to him last. Right?
Mert, yes.
Mert referred you, and Volo told Scito about him by name and description. He's the big dragonborn, extremely well dressed. And he's the only dragonborn in the bar, and he's very, very distinctive looking.
Does he respond to Roscoe kind of calling out to him?
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir. Hello, my name's Roscoe, by the way. I was told that you might sell reagents and components for spellcasting.
Oh, is that how you normally do things? You just shout at people walking through the tavern? You know, that sort of thing could cause an accident. One time in a tavern known as the Whistling Fox, a young man by the name of Octavius Quixote Jones was called out to at a tavern. He slipped on a pile of spilled ale, and he fell down in such a way that his very spine was severed by the edge of a table. He was paralyzed from then on. He couldn't move his arms or legs for the rest of his life. Now, is that the sort of accident you are trying to cause, young man?
That sounds terrible. No. I was looking for you a minute ago, but I couldn't find you, so I got excited because I saw you. Shall we go to your place of business?
Yes, come up to my table. Come up to my table, yes.
And he waves you. He starts going ponderously up the stairs. Is Azar gonna go after him too, or not?
I think Scito said he'd be right back. So we can say he's following along quietly or something, and he can decide whether that lets him pipe in or not.
Okay. Oh, I didn't see that. Actually, I need to take a super quick break, to be perfectly honest with you guys. So, let's take a super quick break.
Alright, on this cliffhanger, who is Mordax?
I'll be right back in just a couple minutes. Stick around, stay tuned, don't touch that dial. I will be RB, hashtag super fast.
Okie dokes.
Welcome back. Other people are taking a quick break too.
Mm.
So, Nox, I actually managed to. I mean, I still have to do a bit more polishing, but I actually managed to get the module done for the next Shattered Crown.
Ooh, awesome.
Yes.
I haven't done
Okay, I'm
some
back.
Corwin in quite a while.
Indeed.
Some people need to buy some art. I'm back. So,
Yay.
Scito, what you missed, I didn't realize you had taken a break. Vordaxis the Resplendent, who was described to you, and you were also told his name by Volo, kind of came walking past you all, and Roscoe called out to him, and, you know, he turned around, and they had a very brief conversation, and then he said, "Come up to my table," and he started going up the stairs, and Roscoe was following after him. Did you want to follow him too?
Sure.
Okay. And what's everybody else? I don't know who's even back from their break or not, but
I'm here.
I'm here as
I'm here. Wait, but is this happening? Are we kind of like retconning or going back and this is what's happening when Roscoe was not yet?
No, he just wasn't there when Roscoe was there, so this is all after. So theoretically, anyway.
yeah, Roscoe was kind of waiting for him upstairs, but he never came back.
Oh, okay. Well, Midge has other things she needs to do, so she's not gonna go.
Is Manda back? I like fun brain surgery between friends.
That was
Yeah.
awesome.
And Roscoe's been down 3 health, and it's been bothering me this entire time of like, I just want to rest and fix it. Everything else is pretty much full, except for 1 hit die.
I
Do
would kind of
OCD.
like to restore my hit dice. I still am missing half of them.
I mean, we will rest. We just had business, I guess. It's just like an OCD thing of maybe just like, it's just 3 gone.
Cool, 3 gone. I'm down 20.
23.
And Sardick's effectively at half after the whole Red Saber incident. I think Aura is as well.
This is true. I mean,
No,
this is less
you
of
healed
like
me
a...
for a lot of mine.
Yeah, that's right. That Channel Divinity pool was pretty much used up between the 2 of us.
Yeah, you healed more than half, so.
There, I put Azar's token up there instead of
I was watching you do it, yeah?
Darius's. Alright, so they're going up with the wizard now. At least Sardick, I'm not Sardick, but at least Roscoe and Azar are going up with the wizard to talk to him on the 2nd tier. Is Ar gonna go too, or is she doing something else?
No, she's gonna go sit with the baby again and just kind of take the little bit of time we probably have left to just kind of spend it with him.
Okay.
I mean, there's
sounds
no
good.
reasons we can't spend like 2 nights here or something in game, right? Because I don't think anyone's on too much of a time crunch.
And
If,
also,
like-
If we decide to go back down anytime soon, we're cutting game because he's changing our map.
Yeah, the dungeon is currently under construction. So we're not actually going back to the dungeon this session no matter what. So either we'll roleplay in the tavern the whole time, or whenever you guys are done and ready to go back down, we're just going to end early, if need be, this time.
Oh, wait, that's not going to help in the little map thing that Roscoe's making. Wait, we're literally never going to get off the first floor because now we're going to be like, we have to explore this.
No, actually, this is actually going to help you to have the map that you can see all the time. You'll see.
I mean, the map that Roscoe
Is making.
like his handheld.
Yeah, exactly. The actual dungeon isn't changing. I, the DM, am changing the actual map in Roll20.
I see. I thought you were saying that you were like doing like Laster's messing things up and like changing where certain things connected and whatnot. I see. Okay.
It'll be cool. You guys will see. So, all right. So, the two of you that are going up with Vordaxis, then you get back to his table, and he settles his bulk down into a chair. It kind of squeaks, and he spends several seconds like carefully adjusting all of his articles of clothing so that they're hanging in just the right way and nothing is bunched up or gonna get wrinkled or anything. And he places his cane with a sort of sphere at the end of it, places it on the table in front of him very carefully.
I apologize for my introduction a minute ago, but I heard that you might be the person to purchase certain magical reagents from. Is this true?
He says, he kind of looks you up and down, then he looks at Azar, he looks back at Roscoe, as though he's weighing every detail of your appearance. And it's hard to read a Dragonborn face since you're not Dragonborn, but you don't see a lot of approval in his eyes. And he says,
Are you, in fact, wielders of arcane power? More specifically, are you a wizard?
I'm a wizard.
he looks at Azar again, up and down, looking at his clothing.
Really?
Really?
Prove it.
You lightning bolt him.
But I basically don't have any damage spells. I'm pretty much a control wizard. Though
Yeah.
I do plan to basically fill out my spell book, so I figure that blast spells and whatnot, I can toss those in when it's fun. We have fun here.
Cast Hold Person on Roscoe.
You have some cantrips, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have some cantrips. You cast Toll the Dead on him. No, that'd be fucked up. So what do you do?
We could do a mage hand high five.
We could do the mage hand high five.
Roscoe's gonna like make eye contact with him and like using Awakened Mind to count down from 3, like I guess from 6 technically because it takes an action to do it.
I think Sardick isn't watching this. He'd really think you two were split at this point.
So, at the countdown from 6, Roscoe's gonna cast Mage Hand and go for the high five.
And so does Azar.
So Roscoe has like this like shadowy like kind of weird shadow version of the hand thing.
What's
I don't
his
know what
Azar's hand
Azar's would look like.
Azar's is more blue with small little rivulets of white energy that run through it.
Alright, those both sound pretty cool.
And they collide with approximately 5 pounds of force each.
Alright, so you do the mage hand high five. Nice.
10 pounds.
And he chuckles.
Well, okay then. I see. Well then, allow me to welcome you to the Wizardly Touch. My shop. Well, my shop in absentia. I have access to my inventory here. This isn't my actual physical shop. I am Vordaxus the Resplendent.
And he begins to run down a lineage of dragonborn patriarchs and houses, none of which either of you have ever heard of. Are you going to interrupt him or let him finish?
Roscoe's too awkward to interrupt him. He's just like nodding, pretending to understand.
So he speaks for a solid 2 minutes, basically laying out his entire genealogy.
I forgot to do push to talk. I was just saying, Azar might have actually heard of the houses. Could I do a history check?
Sure, you can do a history check.
Roscoe has
if you
expertise
want.
in history. Can I do one also?
Nope. Sure haven't heard any of these houses.
Yeah, you can do a history check too.
Maybe like one of them.
Even with a 19, you haven't heard of these, so they must be kind of obscure. Although, you know, Dragonborn history specifically wouldn't have been probably a big topic of general study. So it's obscure knowledge.
Dragonborn ruins. Yeah, no, that's fair.
You do know enough to know that nothing he's talking about is anything really well known, because otherwise you would have heard of them.
Okay. I'll still keep nodding.
So then he says,
I am... Well, not to toot my own trumpet, but I am a master of the arcane arts. A magister. An arcanist. A wizard. And I have powerful wares that I have crafted myself. Take a look at what I offer.
and he shows you a list, which is of course in the Wizardly Touch handout.
In addition, of course, I sell the basic requirements of wizardry. Common spell components for arcane spells, magical inscription materials, blank spell books, and the like. And in fact, you have come on a most auspicious day. For today, only today, I am offering a sale. Yes, a sale. 50% off my entire stock, except for permanent magical items. That means 50% off scrolls. It means 50% off the goods that I just mentioned.
Oh man, we didn't get the sale on the manual of bodily health. Or with enough money for that.
Yeah, today only you could get the Manual of Bodily Health for like, you know, 18,000 or something.
So close.
So, what is it that you are looking for?
Oh, you can go first.
Well, let me take a look here. I'm still looking for my spell book. It's unfortunately somewhere down below, but I have been looking for a few scrolls to fill out my spell book. I don't suppose you happen to have a scroll of Identify, would you?
Yes, I do, of course. And so today only it's 25 dragons.
Right. Let me look through your look through some other spells and get back to you on if I would like any others.
If you've lost your spellbook, I have very fine blank spellbooks, only 25 gold. Inscription materials for spells of the first tier, 25 gold as well.
That's alright, I'd rather get my spellbook back.
And what about you, young man?
Well, this thing I can do, I think it's actually quite common, a variant of it, but I think I could replicate it with some charcoal and incense. Could I purchase a pretty hefty sum?
Charcoal and incense? Are you finding a familiar?
Other sorts, yes. Yes.
What do you mean, other sorts? What kind of dodgy magic do you practice, young man?
Well, I was just never formally educated in it, so I can do that. It makes a familiar. It's just not standard.
Well, not formally educated. Allow me to help you with that. Listen up. I shall tell you a thing or two about the nature of familiars.
And he starts going off on this dry, like, professorial lecture. Like if you were at a wizard school, this is the way they would teach it. About, like, you know, what familiars are, where they come from, how they work. He just starts going off.
Probably has, like, nothing to do with Roscoe's understanding of creating a familiar through, like, the far realms. It's like...
Exactly. It has nothing to do with the way you do yours.
That's quite fascinating. So
it all sounds very familiar to Azar, though. Having been formally educated in magic himself.
I guess I was planning on purchasing 3 uses of it, but since it's half off, I might up that to 6. Just
all
to,
right.
you know, have a store.
That would be 30 dragons for those.
And yeah, Roscoe will produce 3 platinum pieces.
And he picks up his cane and he waves it in a series of elaborate gestures through the air. And finally in a large loop, and a large, very fancy-looking portal with golden dragons swirling around the perimeter of it, opens up, shimmering with striated golden and silvery light, and he reaches in and he pulls out the materials that you requested and slides them across the table to you. So you now have
Roscoe's
6.
gonna, like, if you think about how much charcoal that really is, Roscoe's got his hands full of it.
I assume you don't need much charcoal to cast the spell.
It's probably
just
really
expensive
fancy charcoal, I guess.
Yeah, it's artisanal charcoal.
Wow. Okay, thank you, sir. I think this is all I...
That's all.
For me, at least, have you seen anything else that you'd like?
Yes, some things. Let's see here. I would also like if you have a scroll of absorb elements, I would rather like to have one of...
What level spell is that? First? Second?
First, sorry, I keep forgetting. Push to chat.
Oh, that must be in Xanathar's book, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so any first level scroll is going to cost you 25. He says,
I have 27 scrolls of the first tier available now.
But conveniently, they happen to be whatever spell you ask for.
Nice. Alright, so yeah, a scroll of identify, a scroll of absorb element, and I think I'll also get a couple of second level scrolls. me just look through those.
Roscoe is gonna kind of like wander off with his like handful of really fancy charcoal. Actually, we need some. How much money do you have? I guess not much because we don't have your stuff. I'll stick around for that.
Do you know why? Do you know why familiars respond to charcoal? Let me tell you.
So he starts going off on another highly technical explanation.
That's quite interesting, sir. I don't know that it works like that for me.
Well, of course it does. If you're using the charcoal to summon the thing, it must work the same way.
I guess that's true, but I normally think of familiars as being, like squirrels or birds or I don't know.
Or owls. And
Owl.
And Azar points to the owl that's been on his shoulder the entire time.
I guess mine is more of just a shadow, in a way. But it's live. It's a real shadow. It's just different.
He kind of squints his eyes, looking at Roscoe.
I'm beginning to suspect that you're not a wizard, are you? What sort of dark magic do you dabble in, boy?
There's nothing evil about it or dark. It's just a sort of awakened reality that I seem to have found myself in.
Mm-hmm. You be careful when you're using arcane magic that does not come from proper study of spellbooks. Many people have lost their lives, their freedom, their sanity, dabbling with such powers. In fact, let me tell you about...
And he starts telling stories about...
Let me tell you about a story named Roscoe who has already lost his sanity. No.
Alright, and I think I'll also take a scroll of web and a scroll... Flaming sphere.
Alright, so you're taking, what, 2 first and 2 second? Right? Identify and observe elements are first,
Yep.
and web and flaming sphere is second.
Yep, so that's 200 total, so I parcel out 4 of the moonstones.
He picks up one of them and examines it.
I suppose this will do, although I don't typically deal in stones. I prefer coin. In fact, why don't you take these over to that one over there?
And he points at Rosavi.
He buys gems.
I'm not going to make you roleplay that transaction out unless you actually want to. I can just say that you went over there and traded him for coin and brought it back.
Well, you know what, I, as a veteran who remembers Rosavi from the old times, sure, I'll go over there and trade with Rosavi. So I head over to Rosavi and I say, hello, flaming skull person.
Alright, so while he's going over to there to do that, Vordaxis is continuing to talk Roscoe's ear off about technical magical explanations that don't really make any sense to you.
Roscoe, at this point, like, I think him saying that people lost their minds to it did shake Roscoe a little bit because he's in one of his quote-unquote saner moments right now. So I think he's just kind of like absentmindedly nodding and like thinking about things to himself as this is happening. So like he's perfectly happy to sit there and let him talk, but he's not really listening.
Okay, that's fine. So if you go over to Rosavi...
Greetings! It is I, the great Rosavi Korasani. I see a customer coming this way. Welcome to Razavi's remarkable relics. What can I do for you?
Well, I was rather hoping you might be able to exchange some of these gems I have for coin, if that would be a possibility.
Razavi loves gems. Lay them out here before me.
Alright, and I'm gonna lay out, you know what, I may as well convert them all, lay out all 5 moonstones.
I see. He kind of floats down to like right by the gems and studying them with his empty, burning eye sockets.
These are quite nice. Razavi will give you 50 dragons apiece for them.
Sounds fair.
Very well.
And a portal opens up and the coins float out of the portal and stack themselves neatly on the table in front of you.
This may sound an odd question, but I feel like we've met somewhere before. Do you get that sense at all?
Razavi travels all over the plains. Razavi has met countless people. Razavi cannot remember them all.
Well, that's odd. I don't suppose you were ever in Menzoberranzan, no?
Razavi has been to this city, of course. The Drow elves are favorite customers of Razavi.
I see. Perhaps that's where we met. Anyways, thank you very much for the coin, and I look forward to doing business with you again. Also, nice golem.
Ah, this is Adamus. He serves his purpose very well.
Adamus stands there, doing nothing, saying nothing.
Oh, that Adamus. Oh, he's a jokester.
Being a character.
Come back if you're ready to spend some of that coin on fine merchandise, the likes of which you will not find anywhere else in Waterdeep. Especially since you can't get to most of Waterdeep now.
Alright. So I'm going to return to whatever his name is again.
For Daxus.
For Daxus, and I'm going to say, alright, here we go. I've got 200 gold here, and that should pay for all 4 scrolls.
Yes, indeed. That pays for the scrolls quite well. You're sure you don't want an extra spell book? What if you can't find yours?
Well, if I couldn't find mine, that would be devastating. I'm sure the gods or whoever's overseeing us wouldn't let that happen. But perhaps it would be wise to have a backup that I could copy the spells into sometime, so perhaps I will actually look into that. How much are you charging for a spellbook? 25 gold?
25, but these are highest quality spellbooks. None of that trash they sell in the marketplace.
Very well. I will purchase one of your spellbooks.
Choose your color.
And out of the portal come several spellbooks in a variety. They're all leather bound, very nice looking, nice paper. They even smell nice, and they have a variety of colors. Which color do you choose?
Oh, I'm a sucker for that good-smelling stationery, let me tell you. I will take the one with the blue cover, because I roll with a color. Stay true to your man.
Very nice. Here you are, it is now yours. Do you need any inscribing materials?
No, that should do it for now. Thank you very much.
Very well. Thank you for being customers of the Wizardly Touch. If you wish to learn more on topics of magic, I would be happy to elucidate on such subjects.
Smash that subscribe button.
Well, you know what? Maybe actually I should buy some inscribing. Just that cost again.
Your last 25 gold to inscribe one first level spell.
There's some party funds too. I think while he's selling things half off, it's good to
I'll purchase enough to inscribe one first level spell.
Good, I'm glad you saw reason. It's always nice to see someone hand over all of their money.
Yes, quite literally, I have handed over everything that I made from Volo. I
Will
need to
was
go back to
asking
make
in
sure.
Discord if you guys wanted to buy anything else, like a bag of holding or anything. I don't know how much party funds you have now.
We could get the bag and a couple other small things, or we could save up. Or we could get the resurrection that Sardick wants. Stuff like that. We have a bit, but...
Well, we haven't spent any of the gold that we got.
Do you have the party fund written down in that one handout?
Yes, it's in party notes. We got a pretty hefty chunk from turning in the Grell stuff. And... oh, and then we also just sold a bunch of trinkets and random stuff to Razavi.
By the way, you know those two air elemental things you found? They do radiate magic. You have them in the probably non-magical section. But they do radiate magic.
I'm carrying them around, so
hey.
technically they wouldn't be in the group.
Everyone, take your antidote. Just saying. Let's just get that out of the way now.
Did they say how long this lasts, or is it long?
She just said at any time before.
If the,
So I think it's
if
basically
the Black
vaccine.
Viper gave it to us, I trust her. I'll drink it.
I was just thinking, like, if there's a time limit on it, we should probably take it when we're going down.
No,
Josiah,
it's permanent. You drink it once and you're covered. It's like a vaccine.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
Although I don't know how vaccines work, but hypothetically it's like a vaccine.
Excuse me, I'm anti-vaccination. No, I'm just kidding. I'm really not.
Yeah, I heard that they're all
Christ.
just a trick from Big Pharma. No, I'm kidding.
She's gonna give us all Down syndrome.
Yeah. Any more comments about vaccination?
Yeah,
See what you did?
Comment on what was just said. All right, it was a fucking joke.
Yeah, it was a joke. No
Everyone
need
be
for
cool, everyone be cool.
blasting Josiah's YouTube later.
Yeah, although if you do have any strong words or opinions in either direction on that, you can send those to firesnakearies@gmail.com. I don't know.
And you can also
you can send them
this
to we
YouTube
don't want to
video.
hear it at
If you
gmail.com.
agree or disagree with our opinions, you can smash that subscribe button.
Comment below.
Nice.
Ask your friends what they think.
Yes, get everybody in on this.
I want to hear your opinions in the comments.
Let's start a movement.
10 comments equals 1 prayer for anti-vax.
We all chug our
You're gonna get that one person that's anti-vax that was like, I did not find this funny.
And they're gonna comment 10 times in an argument.
Is the moment they then try and justify, for example, again, people, just because your child has autism, that doesn't make them any less of a person. Unlike what Jenny McCarthy said when she was like, I gave my child the vaccine. I saw a light go out of his eyes.
No, you saw the
That's-
pain of the needle from a child's face. That's what you saw.
Yeah, it's just
Yes,
it's horrible
it's
because
not.
it actually it promulgates the whole idea that people. I mean, there's really no evidence to link autism and vaccinations, but it also, well, again, serves to denigrate people who have autism.
Which is not
Right.
cool.
And it lets things like measles come back into the,
Yeah, that which is always
the world.
great.
Which is not cool. So, let me ask
So
you
fantasy
a
measles.
question. Whilst Azar and Roscoe are engaged in these activities, what are the rest of you doing? I know Ara said she's kind of just hanging out with the baby.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, Arlo Butterbarrel comes over and brings you a little
I love
bowl,
this guy.
a little bowl full of mashed up, basically homemade baby food. The
Ground
whale I don't like
tentacles.
this. Try this. I think you'll like it.
Alright. I kind of look at it. Is it the Grell tentacles? Did he make like baby mash with Grell tentacles?
Ah, no. Grilled tentacles, too strong a taste for a little one like this. Nah.
Okay. So I try to feed him some of the food.
So he's eating some and he smiles. He makes little gurgling sounds of happiness.
Yeah, this is the kobold scrotums.
Oh! I will never tell you as an adult when you become one that you ate gold scrotum.
You just mash them up and put them into a sausage and no one knows.
All Undermountain oysters.
Yikes.
I gotta get back to the kitchen, but Eddie, you just keep the little guy fed, huh?
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Ah!
So he goes, wandering back to the kitchen. What is Midge and Sardick doing? What's Sardick doing?
Sardick's kind of going around the bottom level there, and he's sort of looking around the place, but especially to any like empty tables or whatnot, he'll kind of go and look, and he'll check out the menus and sort of nod approvingly, as they've seemed to have recently diversified their languages in here, according to his suggestion. He's quite pleased that Durnan took that under his supervision, and so he'll look and go, yeah, this one's in common. That's nice. They're finally breaking away from just such constant elvish monotony. He'll continue on to the next table and that kind of thing.
Yeah, you can now read everything. And he even has, since he has the menu posted up in different languages, you can see there is the Dwarven menu now.
Yeah, Sardick will definitely notice that and sort of nod approvingly and, looking over, muttering to himself, it's good to see some nice Dwarven runes back on these menus again. I mean, I'm all for the existence of Elvish, but just constant Elvish everywhere you go is just a bit too much. Just a bit too much it is.
Elvish is like Starbucks. All right, so what is Midge
Pretentious?
doing? Ubiquitous. What is Midge doing?
She's probably watching Sardick for a while, just kind of like trying to gauge, like, all right, he's back again, back to normal, I think. And after she sees him kind of like checking out a couple menus, she's just gonna like approach him and kind of clear her throat.
Sardick, I was thinking, maybe you can help me out with this, because I feel like you and I are on the same wavelength in terms of the value or lack thereof of coin compared to maybe some of our friends. And given the unusual situation in the tavern, I think this is the perfect time to really extol the virtues of a trade or barter-based economy, especially as, Durnan says that he's rationing the food and stuff, but
it's only a matter of time before things like that get kind of hard to get, And then she kind of like pulls out a handful of good berries that she'd made, and she says, I'm thinking that we can use something like this to kind of inspire people to give up the coin, give up their old ways and start seeing that there's better ways to get what you need than exchanging little metal pieces.
This is true. You are thinking on a similar wavelength as I am. When we came back up here, I mean, we couldn't have been down there more than, a couple days, and this ward up over here it's blocking everyone. And, I mean, I know that they were saying over there that they've got a whole bunch of supplies down in the basement and such, but, to already be rationing just with only 2 days, it seems a bit odd to me. I was also considering sort of devoting a bit of my magic to conjure up some water and some food and such that would be able to kind of bolster them. I mean, it doesn't really last longer than a day, but still, for so many people, I'm sure it wouldn't go to waste.
Agreed. And really what's happening here is kind of interesting. It's almost like the tavern is becoming an ecosystem of its own. Because, like Waterdeep itself, even though it's a city and everything, there's kind of a whole food chain situation going on. And if the Yawning Portal's now kind of closed off to everything else, it's kind of becoming its own, environment. And well, I don't know. It just seems to me like it's necessary to make sure that certain basic needs are met. I've seen firsthand, like, rats will get pretty brutal and pretty cutthroat if they don't get enough food. So just little things like that definitely need to be taken care of. And I think we're the right people to kind of help out in that respect.
Exactly. And, I think that the real crux of the matter is to try to actually convince a fair amount of these people to actually think about, rising, above the level of the rat, above trying to, simply think for yourself and, offer your natural benevolence to others that might be in need,
For a coin-based system. Roscoe said somewhere.
No, what? Coins? No, we're not about coins.
For continuing to bring up again and again and sticking to your anti-currency agenda, I've given you another inspiration, so that goes
just
into the
you
bank.
wait. If this ward stays up long enough and I have enough time to actually play Midge's agenda out, she's for sure going to try and turn everyone against coin and into a trade-based economy.
But an anarcho-communist what is it? Anarcho-syndicate commune.
A commune is not a bad idea.
The
No one gets
revolution
the
of the
money by
proletariat. Yeah, okay. Pretty soon you're gonna have everybody in this tavern, revolting against the Waterdeep government and shit.
Midge would kind of nudge Sardick and nod and hand him half of her good berries and just say, I think it's time you and I go spread the good word.
Well,
Let's go spread the good berry.
Hey!
Nice. So, at this point, two things happen, more or less simultaneously. First of all, for Roscoe and Azar, who are up on the second tier, you feel a sudden intense feeling that someone is staring at you. And you sense what direction it's coming from. Do you look?
Yeah. Roscoe feels uncomfortable enough.
I look.
Alright, you see this woman. Leaning forward on her table and staring intently at the two of you. And you see her table is kind of halfway covered up with all sorts of little jars and bottles and containers, and they're all lined up perfectly neatly, and everything is completely orderly, and they're in order from taller to shorter and by color and everything, and none of them are even a millimeter off of perfect lines. And they only cover exactly half of the table, and the other half of the table is immaculate. And as you kind of look over and make eye contact with her, she lifts one hand and makes a little beckoning motion towards both of you. At the same time that happens, Tefera walks up to Midge. So, hey, you remember me? I'm Tefera, right?
Yeah.
You got a copper? A nib?
Sure
Just one
do.
nib?
And she hands him a gold.
Why? Well, yeah? That's great. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
That's really generous. Anyway, Danae, woman up on the second floor there. And he points, and you can see her up there. She wanted to talk to you if you, not busy?
Yeah, sure. Hey, and just something to think about, and she's gonna point at the coin. That's really not gonna be worth much if we're all stuck in here for an extended amount of time, so really you should be considering your other options.
What are my other options?
Well, you got any skills, or can you make anything that people would find useful?
I can, deliver messages. I can run fast. I can move through crowds quickly. I can,
Hey.
climb over things or under things. And I can, sometimes find coins that other people, have lost, even though they're still carrying them.
We're still a little coin-based here, but that's okay. I think your messenger abilities will come in very handy, but just consider switching over to maybe asking for other things in exchange. Instead of coin, food or items that other people might find useful, things like that. And
Yeah,
we're
but
just kind of,
food's
like,
good.
pat him
I
on the
mean,
shoulder.
I do get food sometimes, but I'm not always hungry. And if I get coins, I can just use it to buy food if I need it, or I could use it for something else if I need it. You see, I have more options if I get a coin, right? Doesn't that make sense to you?
At this point, Midge is like starting to walk away, and she just kind of shrugs and says, "Well, that's if we ever get out of here, right?" All right, see ya.
All right, bye. And
This
he's
kid
sort
is
of like,
woke.
he's like shining his gold coin on his shirt and looking at it happily. This kid makes so much money in here, you guys don't even know. He's pulling in on 6 figures.
He's an entrepreneur.
Yeah. He goes over to his golden chariot. Alright, so who, if anyone, chooses to approach the mysterious woman?
Was I there for the message?
No. Well, you overheard
Okay,
the
then
message.
I wouldn't.
You overheard
Mitch
the
would've
message,
asked.
but
Oh,
it
okay.
wasn't directed at you.
Oh. It was like, well, Mitch would have asked Sardick if he was like still standing right there, like in the middle of our conversation. She would have.
He was definitely speaking. He was definitely speaking only to Midge, but the others overheard it, of course.
Midge does not realize that means that maybe only certain people are invited, and she just looks over and is like, "Come on, let's go." To anybody else who's still sitting around or standing.
She says it to random drunken corner.
Let's go. Come on.
Artemis Blastwind, come on.
What about Azar and Roscoe? She's beckoned towards you.
Well, Azar is always on the hunt for power, and information is power, so he will proceed.
Roscoe?
Yeah, I'll go.
Alright, so she's wearing very unusual clothing. Those of you who are historians probably recognize it as the styles of the nation of Termish, which is far to the east. But that's considered an exotic land in these parts. And all of you serendipitously sort of arrive at her table at the same time. Everyone that's going.
Yeah.
And she motions at the several chairs that are there available.
Let's go sit down.
Yep. I'll take a seat.
Likewise.
As you're all sitting, one of the chairs sort of bumps the table slightly, and it just ever so slightly moves a couple of her little jars. And she looks down like her head like a whip, and immediately reaches out and readjusts them exactly to the position where they were before. Oh, by the way, hey son, I didn't see you'd come in.
Roscoe
What's going on, son?
apologizes.
Good to see you.
You beckoned us.
Yes, I am Dane of Alagon. You are the adventurers who gone down a couple times and gone back.
Yes, that's correct.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've been down once and come back.
We've adopted him.
What do you know about monster anatomy?
Some? In what way?
I am an alchemist. And she looks directly at Midge. And she says, among other things, I think you and I got something in common, she says to Midge.
Probably, maybe. I mean,
You
sure,
can
why not?
feel a sort of familiarness to her, and the way she smells, she doesn't smell like everyone else in the tavern, or like all these normal sort of city folk. There's an almost animal-like quality to her scent that seems very familiar to you, Midge.
Midge
Not
is
in
kind
terms of
like,
her being a
shifting.
were-rat, but not like
Right,
that. But
I think I got you though, but yeah, either way, like Midge is definitely like shifting uncomfortably in her seat now with all this, with like this woman's attention on her.
in any case, I sell potions, things of that nature. And in order to make these things, I need rare ingredients. Some are plants, minerals, gathered out in the world. But some come from strange creatures, monsters, as they say. There are many ingredients that can only be found from the kinds of creatures that live below, in the dungeon that you are exploring anyway. Maybe you fight some of these creatures, yeah?
Possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've indeed tangled with some of them.
You see, that provides an opportunity for you to more enrich yourselves. Because what do you do with the dead bodies of these monsters after you kill them?
But there was one time where I kind of laid them out in this. Never mind.
As Roscoe says that, Midge actually points at him and says, "Well, this one time he started piling them a bit. You know what? No."
We kind of just leave them there in a pile that someone makes.
At this point, Katrin walks up. She's been gone this whole time. And she comes back and her hair is wet. And she's changed clothes. And she says, "Hey,
Can't say I blame her.
I've been looking for you. I just took the longest bath. It was so nice. It felt amazing." And she kind of sniffs at some of you. And anyway, the baths are still open. I recommend them. But I see you're talking to Dene. Hi, Dene again. Dene looks at Katrin, sort of lifts her chin at her in a sort of gesture of acknowledgement. "Hello, little one. I do not suppose you have found the Druid of the Deeps yet." Katrin says, "No, I haven't found her yet, but I feel like we've only looked around at a very small amount of, everything that's down there, so I'm sure we'll find her." Danae says, "That is good. You remember, find her. You will know when you find her. Only one druid lived down there. Give her what I gave you. Tell her what I told you. And bring back to me what she gave you. And then your curse will be ended." Katrin nods. She says, "Oh, great. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. I have my new friends here. They're helping me. They're helping me find her. Right, guys?"
Can I do an insight check to see if she seems sincere about her quest for Katrin?
I was
Who
thinking the
seems
same.
sincere?
Tom.
Dene.
Dene.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Both of us? Because if it's just one, I'll let Sardick do it because he's probably better at it. And Roscoe's
Anyone
not
who-
super insightful, it's just Will that's curious.
Anyone who wants to.
But I guess people can get lucky.
Both of you think she seems completely straightforward. You don't detect any hint of shadiness or ulterior motive that you can tell.
Just gotta make sure she's not yanking her friend around, you know?
Sardick will kind of nod as he's listening to this exchange.
Yeah, so they're gonna help me find her, right? She kind of looks around at everybody as though she's not
Of
100%
course.
sure.
True, I mean, although you did just come out of an ordeal, I wasn't 100% certain that you'd even want to attempt to continue.
Of course, I have to. I can't live like this. It's getting harder to control her, too. I mean, that's why she gets out so much, and I'm sorry she keeps taking all of you over. But if we can get rid of this curse, that won't happen anymore.
It feels very convenient and opportune. Or, inconvenient and inopportune. Sorry, I said the wrong words. Damn metagaming or something.
Anyway, sorry. And she just kind of sits down and shuts up. Danae just nods at her and then looks back at Midge for a moment, consideringly. She says to Midge, "Maybe you and I speak a little bit more after. But anyway, back to what I was saying. You killed his monster down there. His body goes to waste. There'll be things in there that I could use. Things in there that you could sell to me, you see."
True. Well, we'd need to know exactly what those sorts of things are. I mean, I could carry up, carcasses of carrion crawlers all day, but I think Durning would rather frown upon it. I mean, I've already got one poor noble down in his cellar, and he's already charging me a dragon a day.
What you doing with a noble in the cellar?
An act of mercy. I'm trying to get him restored to life. Just as we were coming in here, we were trapped in that ward. I think probably we were one of the last ones to be in here, but while we were stuck in there, we saw him fell, and when we went down and I came back up, I felt compelled to bring him back up with me.
I'm sorry, you did what now? Why?
Because it's a noble thing to do, an act of mercy, but it seems trying to convince others of that is just like trying to take down the wards themselves.
So you got a random person's corpse and put it into the cellar here?
Exactly. I tried to get him raised by the same cleric that restored Katrin, but, well, the dice weren't favoring me then either. It's a rather cruel twist of luck.
Danae looks at Sardick. I can see that you are a man of compassion. You have great heart for other people. That is good. Do not let the evils down below take that from you.
Never. If it's the last thing of me, that will not happen.
Anyway, as you were saying, how do you know what parts I need? How do you know how to remove them without ruining them, without hurting yourself? Some of these things very toxic, you see. Well, Danae of Alagon has solution for you. And by now, a very familiar type of portal, although hers is very sort of plain and without frills, like some of the others that you've seen. And a large book drifts out of it, and sort of very, very, very slowly drifts down toward the table.
Oh.
And then she takes hold of it, and she just sets it down with so much care. Is anybody, like, touching the table, leaning on the table, anything like that?
I have right now got my head in my hands, and I'm sort of watching all this.
Midge probably had her like hands or arms like resting on the table at first.
Yeah, so like if anybody like sort of touches the table or leans on it, do not touch the table. And she like carefully readjusts the position of a little bottle that might have shifted slightly.
Okay, this is sounding very familiar.
Yeah, Danae of Alagon has to get all the achievements.
I understand.
So she sets down this large book. She says, This is the Codex Monstrum. And she flips it open carefully and starts paging through. Sort of rough, old, weathered-looking pages with lots of illustrations and technical diagrams and explanations. And you see what looks like the anatomy of countless monsters as she's flipping through here, and very detailed, like, surgical instructions of how to remove certain parts of them and what those parts are good for. And she says, This book teach you how to make use of the dead body of monster you kill. Then you take the parts. You do what the book says. You follow the book. It tell you what to do. You bring the parts to me. I buy them for you. I buy them. Of course, the book not free.
Midge
can
is
have
already
this
kind of
book.
like reaching out to put her hand like toward the book, and then she looks over at Roscoe and just whispers, "I get it now."
It will steal your mind. Don't touch it.
Is there a nature patron for warlocks? What's up? What's the deal?
Yeah, there's phase.
Yeah,
There's phase. Ugh.
they're kind of nature. Kind of.
They
In
can
a
be.
weird way. So she says, You give Danae of Alagon 100 dragon. I give you Codex Monstrum. It pay for itself. You make money using this book. I not offer this to everyone but you.
You seem to either be skilled or blessed. I may not know which. But I see you have one among you, and she looks at Midge again. One among you who understand the world. That must be why you're succeeding.
It's official. Midge saved us.
I I don't know what she's referring to. I also am not necessarily interested in profiting off of this book, but I think we should get it because it could come in very useful.
Oh,
I
yeah.
agree. This book.
I'm all for it.
I agree.
That's true, and she actually had the foresight of making this in common instead of elvish, that even the layperson would be able to use such a thing.
Exactly. It's accessible to all.
You can actually see that the whole book is written in 2 languages, sort of side by side. One language is common, the other is one that none of you probably speak, but which the more scholarly among you can surmise is probably Termish. You can kind of recognize the distinctive lettering. Like I don't speak Arabic, but when I see written Arabic, I know it's Arabic. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whoever is holding our coin purse, Midge is looking at you just very expectantly.
I am going to slowly subtract 100 gold from our party funds, and it will come from whoever is holding our coin purse right now.
I believe that would be you.
I didn't know if it was official.
Well, it's official now.
Yeah, I think at this moment Roscoe kind of has the money.
That's true. I guess I did pick up the stuff when we were buying and selling stuff before. I don't know if it was official previously, but Roscoe did have a lot of that stuff last session.
Katrin
I
says,
know
this is... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I said no. Sardick definitely didn't have it due to the madness. It wouldn't have been able to. It would come in, but not be able to go out.
Katrin says, this is exciting. It's like when we got those Drow barb things, right? Except now we can get stuff from all sorts of monsters. She looks at Dana and she says, so anything that's in this book that we get, you'll pay us for? And Dana just nods.
Excellent.
If no one has any objections, may I handle the book?
No.
No, there are no objections or no.
No, I think we should all be allowed to handle the book. You don't even have a bag to carry the book in.
It's true. My backpack.
Literally, what are you gonna do? Honestly, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but what are you gonna do? You're carrying around your own book already, plus a bunch of spell scrolls and no bag to carry them in.
I will get my backpack. We just need to go down. We just need to go down there. That should be a quest. Retrieving Azar's things.
I will say, on the topic of bags, I think we should still get that bag.
I agree. I think we should.
Yeah, let's do it.
AKA Hoarder's Delight.
Just don't
Sad
ever
thing
put a
is
bag
that-
of holding inside of a bag of holding.
So you have purchased the Codex Monstrum.
Yes.
All right, you can put that on your notes then.
I
And
wonder what
deduct
happens if you put
100
a
gold.
Bag of devouring inside a bag of holding.
Codex Mastrum, or what was it?
Monstrum.
Monstrum. Cool. So I have the sheet updated.
Yeah, pretty much Lady Scito, son.
Just glancing
She's
through
obsessive
it really
compulsive.
quickly, though, if we can just flip through it, does it look like things are categorized alphabetically, or is it organized in some other way, like number of teeth or something like that?
It's organized by
actually-
the favors that they can do for people.
It's actually organized by biome.
A Amazing. Would dungeon?
Well,
I guess
it does have a section specifically for subterranean creatures, but of course, lots of other creatures that could be at Undermountain would be in different sections because they wouldn't necessarily be normally subterranean, you know.
Right. Okay. Ooh, that's cool. Guys, this is the only book that matters.
Hi.
Mitch is like, I
Agreed.
want to handle it now.
Everyone's fighting over the book.
Yeah, we're all like pulling out a corner. Sardick's like, I don't want it.
We tear
You're not
a
gonna have
bit.
He's like, now his madness is gone. He doesn't want to pick up anything.
Nice.
What did you do with everything in your pockets? Did you have you
He doesn't
discovered any of
realize-
that yet?
He doesn't
Even
realize
though-
it.
Technically speaking, Greater Restoration only should actually restore one thing, either an ability score or an insanity. It actually shouldn't do both.
I think he had the insanity because of the ability score, though.
Yeah, it was all tied together in one effect, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was the intelligence drain which caused the lack of reading, and then I believe it was the ritual with the King in Yellow that kind of failed a bit and then invoked the madness and then was
Well-
able to get back with a high religion check.
I think it's that you were supposed to be like Katrin, and we kind of fudged the rules in a lot of ways, and it just kind of happened that you only got half back.
The power of the far realm touched your mind.
Which is what caused the insanity.
Didn't touch it in a nice way.
It did give him half of his intelligence back. And
Show
all
us
of
on the
his sanity.
stall where the far realms touched you.
Look, I'm just saying, it gave him half of his intelligence back and all of his sanity -1 back, which is pretty good if you think of it like that.
And almost killed us afterwards.
But didn't.
She says, I also have potions, ointments, dust, and such for sale. You see what I have here. And she shows you her list, which you've already got the handout for that.
Don't give this one any mushroom dust. And I point to Azar.
Wait, you didn't. Wait.
I would have actually known the story.
Was there. She was the one who ordered the caning afterward.
You lived in my city. Oh! I recognized you. Remember when you first started? I
That's
recognized
true.
you. You didn't recognize me.
That's
To be
true.
fair, most Drow just do look alike, so...
I just realized on a map, Termish isn't that far to the east, even though
Pretty far.
technically, freaking Thay is far to the east.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as far away as, there's a lot of places that are further away, like Karatura and stuff, but it's, people that grew up around the Sword Coast region, it's still considered far enough away that most people from this region would never have gone there.
Just saying, it's about as far east as Haurua is. Albeit Haurua is also far to the south.
Yeah. So, what do you guys do now?
Maybe purchase that bag, because we do have a massive collection of coins that are quite awkward to carry. Roscoe says as he's got his shirt tail pulled up like people did in elementary school to put a bunch of things in his shirt like that. Just there's so many coins, that's how he has to carry.
That is why Roscoe wanted us to get the book so he could lighten his load a little.
Oh, 100 coins down. Okay.
Nice. I forgot
yeah,
who
you
even
guys-
had the bag for sale.
Ashlock does. I just refound it. 24 for Ashlock. Ooh, I don't think we've talked to her, actually.
No, we haven't.
So is anybody saying anything else to Danae?
Midge would tell everyone else to like go on ahead and that she'll catch up. She's gonna hang back for a sec.
You know, the rest of us could take a bath real quick, because Midge wouldn't do that anyway, so it's efficient that way.
At this point,
That's very
she just
true.
thinks you're obsessed with baths. Like you're really into baths for some reason.
You know, I could probably benefit from a bath. I was in that hole for some time.
Well, just be aware, if you take a bath, you wash all your protective stink off. Just
You know,
food for
Midge.
thought.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure that's a chance we'll all take.
Alright.
There's only 2 baths there,
How-
so only 2 people can bathe at once.
Damn efficiency. Alright, Roscoe runs to a bath. Wait, no, he has the coins. Okay, Roscoe's gonna buy it back first.
Alright,
I was gonna say I will avoid the awkward bath time with any of the guys and take my bath alone.
Okay. So as the rest of you sort of leave, Danae sort of gets up from her chair and she moves over and she sits down in another chair right next to Midge. And kind of leans over and sniffs her.
Midge isn't even like. This is the least weird thing that's happened so far. But as it's happening, she will kind of like just look at Danae. This might be a weird question, but do I know you from somewhere?
Danae says, all of us who know the Emerald Way, the way of the world, the real world, not these streets, not these buildings that they make, but the real world. Life. All of us know each other. I could see what you are. Even when you were downstairs. Now that I smell you up close, I know it for fact. You and I, we share a calling.
Then you understand it too, right? I mean, if you see the bigger picture beyond the city, then you understand what's going on here. You understand the danger that people are in, don't you?
There is much danger, yes. Most of it created by the people themselves.
That's true, but what they've created, it threatens to throw the whole balance off, and well, if somebody doesn't do something about it, the whole system, the whole cycle here could fall apart. Are you gonna help us do something about that?
She says, you are not one from the forest or the mountains, are you? You have a different feeling about you, a different smell.
I'm, as far back as I can remember, I'm from here. I think I'm
You have
from
spent much time beneath the city, have you not?
Yeah, it's just been safer. It's just been easier that way.
Of course. And that is a world of its own, with its own rules, with its own ecosystem. And you are a part of it. And you have learned from it. That is what we do. We learn from the world around us. And we learn to wear the shape of its creatures. We learn to speak with them, to understand them. We have a rare calling. There are not many of us in a place like this. In Waterdeep, in any big city, not many like us. And almost none go down there, And she points at the floor, basically, down to Undermountain. Then ain't not see others like us go down there. But there is one who live down there. Just one.
The druid that Katrin's looking for, right?
Yes. She is the druid of the deeps. I think you would like her.
Would she be able to help with the whole situation, with the balance being thrown off?
She has a different role. She handles things in her domain. I handle things in mine. The balance is indeed thrown off, but that is why we are here. We act to preserve the balance always. How are you doing that? Why are you here? Why you go down to Undermountain? That is the question I wanted to ask you.
Midge looks very uncomfortable at this point because she isn't really. She's never said out loud her reasoning. And she's kind of like looking around just to kind of check to make sure the others have gone off to like buy their bag of holding or whatever else. And she just kind of says,
Well, a while back, I started noticing things. First it was the were-rats in the sewers disappearing, but there's been a shift. Something's been happening within the city, and just like everything else that happens beneath people's feet, nobody realizes what's going on at first, but I saw the signs, and everything that I saw, everything that was happening drew me here. And then when I got here, I learned of where the were-rats had been taken and what's been building in the Undermountain. And I know it sounds dumb, but instinct is what's telling me I need to go down there and stop whatever's gathering and building and amassing down there, so that the balance doesn't tip one way or another.
She nods. She's kind of just staring at you intently as you speak. This is good. This is what you should be doing.
So, that makes sense. It's not crazy to just think that if your gut tells you to go do something, you should do it. I mean, I've never met anybody else who can do the things that I can do, and I mean, you're talking about being from forests and mountains and all that. I mean, I've seen those things, but I don't think I've ever been to places like that myself. Like, this is normal?
What is normal? The world is always changing, and it is not the same from one place to another. We must understand the world that we are in, where we are. We cannot compare it to some idea of normal. That is a human idea. We must only look to see if the world that we are in is in balance or not.
yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And I can say with some certainty that the world that we're in, and she just kind of like makes a little hand motion to the portal and kind of like suggesting, you know, Waterdeep in general, the balance here is certainly not in order.
You should carry on with what you are doing. Danae is happy to meet you. What is your name?
I'm Midge. And then she like very awkwardly holds out a hand because that's what people are supposed to do, she thinks.
Sniff butts.
I was thinking that and I actually whispered
Wow.
it just as you did, but I was muted.
Wow.
Y'all rude. Y'all rude AF.
Instead of taking your hand, she actually reaches out and sort of touches you on the forehead and just in a quick gesture brings her fingers down to sort of your jawline, as though she's like drawing something on your skin.
Midge kind of like cocks her head, the way like a dog would, kind of being like, you know, what? And then she'll just kind of nod at that.
You have something. I can feel it. Something you found. Maybe something you always had.
Okay, thank you for this. It was very nice meeting you, and I hope that we can talk again.
She's gonna kind of like stand up so fast that she knocks the chair over, and then just start like moving backwards away from the table, and then kind of like awkwardly wave, and then go off and try to like join the rest of the group.
You don't want to show me. I understand.
Wait, what did she say?
You don't want to show me the thing that you have, that I can feel.
I don't know what you mean. I'm also out of wild shapes.
No, it's an object that you carry. I can feel that you have it. I don't know what it is, but I can feel the power to contain.
When she says that, Midge, like as she's backing away, chair's already knocked down, she stops dead in her tracks, and her hand like immediately goes to her pocket, and she kind of just like wraps her hand around something, and it looks like she's gonna say something, and her arm kind of like moves out of the pocket and then stops, and she drops the object again, and she says, I don't know how you knew about that, but I think my friends need me right now, so I should go. And then she will walk away.
Come back again when you are ready. Okay, so you leave there, and some people are taking baths.
Roscoe, I guess, still has his shirt full of coins, so I should probably get the bag first. But it's on the to-do list.
Alright, so if you're gonna go get the bag.
I don't know how much longer we're planning on going tonight, but I do think at some point before we head back down, whether that's this session or next session, we have like a little group chat about like goals and the plan and whatnot. So I don't know if people want to do that first or what.
Yeah, I think maybe we should think about wrapping up for tonight soon.
Josiah, is the bag lady something that you'd want to save for next session? Or is that like a quick thing? Or I say bag lady, the clothing lady who has the bag of folding. Ashley.
Yeah, actually, that will be really quick, because the woman that sells the bag, she seems very distracted. She's kind of got her head in her hands, and she's like looking down and seems upset about something. So if you approach her and ask her about, I mean, I guess somebody must have told you that she sold stuff. Maybe she has a little sign on her table that indicates that she's one of the merchants that sells things here.
Yeah, and Roscoe might have like perused it one of the other nights, like her list of items or something one of the other nights or something, or I don't know. We haven't talked to her though, so.
So pretty much she doesn't even look at Roscoe. She just kind of like pushes the list at you and says, "Whatever you want, let me know."
Yes, please. Anything capable of holding? There were these standard issue bags that we had back at the archaeology school, but I can't really get out to get back and get one. But if you have something like that, something that it's just an efficient holding space.
The treasure hunter. 384 dragons. She just points to it on the list.
Yeah, that will do. Yeah, I'll take out some platinum mostly, and pay the amount.
Alright, so you fork over the 384 dragons. She summons forth the bag from a portal. And it's a very nice, very well-crafted bag. I mean, this would be an expensive bag even if it didn't have any magic on it. You know, it's like a fine fashion, high society kind of bag.
So you're saying it has a high sack value?
It has a high sack value, yes. But you can plainly see that it radiates magic. And she just kind of like holds it out to you. She still hasn't even looked at you. And she sort of takes the coins. Is there anything else?
No, I'm sure we will be returning when we have made more coin. Are you okay?
I'll be okay. I've just...
Good.
I'll be okay. Thank you, though.
Okay, let me know if you need something some other time. I'll be around. Yeah, no, those detect magic charges are going to go to so much use.
Yeah, you might not need those, but somebody else might need to use them if you can't detect magic for some reason. Like if you're not there or if you're dead. I don't know.
Foreshadowing.
Yikes.
You know, you detect magic at will. You have to be alive to use that. Not saying anything. So yeah, she doesn't seem to want to interact any further. She just sort of gives you the bag, takes the money, and waits for you.
Yeah, I felt like Roscoe couldn't walk away not saying anything, but I'm perfectly fine not pushing that. Do we want someone, or does anyone other than Roscoe want it, just so that other people have the option to detect magic? I'm happy to still maintain it. I guess it's just more utility for someone. Also happy to just carry it, so.
Yeah, and you guys are going to need to figure out what stuff you're putting in there and make a list of stuff specifically that's in the bag of holding. Hey, what's up, Spook Girl?
How about this? I'll take that and I'll be the
host.
bag keeper.
The keeper of sack.
Yes.
The keeper of sack.
Could you make a note for that for me, please, Josiah?
Oh, a separate handout?
Oh,
for
I
that?
could. It depends if we want a separate one or not. I could just move this from the top of the party notes to a bag. Oh. Well, and
yeah,
this also has
maybe
like.
you'd make a section in the party notes.
I can do that. Yeah.
Under party funds, just put bag of holding and just list what's in there. Thank you so much for hosting, Spooks. How you doing? Good to see you.
You want me to track weights on that too?
Hi, bye. Maybe you're already gone. I don't know, but thank you. We're just about to wrap up our D&D game here. They're doing tavern stuff, dealing with merchants and everything. It's not a real action-packed session. So anyway, we could probably go ahead and wrap it up here. I know you guys want to have a little talk. I mean, Katrin was actually going to suggest just such a thing in character. But we could save that till next time since we're coming up on the 8 o'clock mark. And I mean, we usually kind of go till 8:15, but it'd be fine to sort of, unless anybody wants to do anything that's going to be really quick before we wrap things up.
Don't have to RP it, but
No.
Beth. I guess for housekeeping, Bath, and then resummon Nevermore, though he'll probably not be summoned, just like disappear.
Oh, okay. No problem. You can do
Like
that.
summon him, but then do the thing with familiars where it was somewhere else.
Are you doing it as a ritual?
I can only do it with an invocation, so
Oh, right. Okay.
or not invocation, but pact feature thing.
I think it still takes an hour, though.
It does, yes. That's just a bookkeeping thing, I guess.
Okay, so anyway, yeah, we'll get back to whatever final stuff you guys want to do before heading down next time, and then next time you can definitely go back down into the dungeon, unless you choose not to. A lot of possibilities, but you have
could
a
stay
new,
up here, become merchants.
you have a new quest, which I'm about to add to the quest thing right now. You could stay up here and become merchants. You don't really have a lot of merchandise to sell, though.
I'm gonna put the books in the bag so that they're resistant to damage. Is anyone opposed to that?
Nope.
Seems like a good idea. In fact, you can take my spell book and the scrolls I have as well. And the inscribing, and keep forgetting that the damn push to talk.
Actually, yeah, if you guys have anything that you want to put in, can you just link it in the Discord and I can copy and paste stuff like that? Just so that I know what's specifically there. Actually, can we just change it so the inventory from Undermountain is what's in the bag of holding? And if it like... I'll change how it's structured, I think, rather than list things.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, however you want to do it. So, yeah, I think we'll call the session officially complete at this point. Next session, we'll come back and handle everything else. So, I'm going to end my recording for YouTube here. Thank you for watching. This has been Josiah Plays Dungeons & Dragons. This has been Beneath the Yawning Portal, Dungeon of the Mad Mage.